deviating can be definitely a result of comparison, very easily, because you see something blow up, you see like a certain sound used, you want to do that, you want to hop on that trend because it might work, but then at the end of the day, it might not just be like as fulfilling as you want, or you're like maybe you're remixing songs that you don't really like just because. So I think when I always try to like tell myself when I do a remix or something that I really do love like the song I'm doing, and when it comes to like comparing and stuff, it's admire, don't compare.
Welcome to Beyond the Bass, a podcast where we go beyond the music and into the full, authentic stories of your favorite artists. No sound bites or surface level moments. This is truly a space for depth, honesty, and connection. It's my hope you'll walk away feeling more connected to your favorite artists and maybe even a tad more inspired too. Today's guest is Marc Mount, better known as Mport. He's a Denver-based bass music producer known for his deep and silly sound, often incorporating memes from clips or movies. He's received support from artists such as Subtronics and Dirt Monkey, and played massive festivals such as Lost Lands, Wakan, and Global Dance Fest. Feel free to listen in pieces or jump around as you'd like. Now let's dive in. Heck yeah, brother. We're here, fired up.
Yes.
A little bit of pre-work, got here a little early, just firing out songs. No big deal.
Yeah. Rapid fire.
Kavka, this guy's unstoppable. You still make your own visuals?
Yeah, I try to, yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's
Just going.
it's
What don't you do?
I don't play the bass. I plugged it in and mess with it, but I don't play it. I don't know. What I don't do is try to be mean, I guess, to people.
That's good.
True.
That's good.
It's a good thing not to be
Be
mean.
fucking nice to each other.
Yeah.
That's the motto. Cool, man. I'm really excited for this conversation.
Same.
Thanks for coming out. And you've listened to some episodes before, so you probably know this question's coming, but I would love to understand and ask what you hope your fans listening will take away from this episode, from your story.
Yeah, I remember that question. I was thinking about it, and I think just over the years and through like job experiences and through experiences in general, I think it might be kind of cliche, but like if it's fun, if you work with people that you like and are friends with, then it's never work. People always say do what you love, and it's never a job. But I think no matter what, it's going to be a job. But if you do it with people you love and your friends, then it really never feels like a job. I feel like that really comes from like restaurants and stuff too, where it's like it could be whatever job. But if you're like vibing with your coworkers and or you get your friends hired, or you bring your friends along, or you're traveling and touring, but you're doing it with friends, even the hardest days are going to be way better.
That's so interesting. I've never heard that perspective before.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh.
It's just like, it's do what you love, sure. But then there's a whole added component of, do it with people you love or friends.
Yeah.
And I mean, one could probably make the argument that you could do something that you hate, but if you're around cool people, like you could do that.
Yeah. I think that really stands in like those mundane jobs I've had or whatever. I'm just like making pizzas at a job or whatever. And I'm just like, but my best friend's here, with me, and we're making jokes and we could talk shit about it afterwards or whatever. And you can correlate. I've also been like, doing a gig somewhere, and I'm like, this is just like the dream job, and then you're like, dang, I wish I was like with some friends right now. So it comes from like a longing for and experience and other things too.
Ooh, that's a deep one. That's a deep one. I really want to go there. I'm curious. It's like a hint of loneliness in there, and I'm curious to hear more about that. But I think we'll get there.
Totally.
Hopefully I don't forget that.
Oh,
I would love to start by starting with your childhood.
Okay.
Because you've been on some podcasts before, but at least I haven't heard you talk about your childhood very much. And to do so, why don't you reach under your seat cushion?
Oh.
This one right here.
This one?
Yeah, under there.
Oh.
Is there a piece of paper there? Oh, there should be a piece of paper there. Yeah. Get up and find it. There it is.
Oh. That's right there. Oh my gosh. Oh, no way. I was thinking about this picture.
Oh, really?
When I was thinking about just reflecting back on my upbringing. But yeah. Incredible.
Little Mark.
Yeah.
Looks like he's playing the drums of some sort.
Yes. And when there's a piano behind, the piano I grew up playing and kind of discovered my musical love. And then these are laundry baskets that I was just setting up and then banging on, I guess. I would do this with trash cans too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you see that picture, what comes to mind immediately or first?
I think the just creative, trying to make anything work is kind of what I think of. Like, I want to play the drums. I don't have drums. I got to make drums. I got to find drums, put it together. And it also is great telling because we get into it later maybe, but I played piano, and the biggest switch to electronic music was like, I like harder music than piano. What's harder? Drums, but I don't have a drum set. Electronic has drum set. I can do it electronically. I always loved drums, but yeah, I love that picture.
Heck yeah.
That's a crazy pull there. It's good.
I mean, I got to do my job. I got to do my due diligence.
It's crazy. I was thinking of that same picture because I was like, I have a picture of me drumming on old stuff.
And here it is, just like that.
Yeah.
It's funny. Oseen was on last episode, and I couldn't find any like childhood photos of him. He's like, "Oh man, you should have been on my mom's Facebook." And I was like, "I was on your mom's Facebook. Her name's Bridget, right?" He goes, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah, it's not a public profile." I really tried. I really tried. You were a little easier.
Yeah, it's all out
I was debating between two. I chose that one, but apparently I chose right.
Yeah, 100%.
So how old were you about in that picture?
I'm so bad with ages of that. Maybe 7.
Okay.
Maybe younger. Maybe younger, honestly. Maybe
well, so
5.
Maybe that's a good like time to start. Like, what do you remember, whether it's from that period or from your childhood, about you and your life?
Yeah, I feel like I grew up in an awesome home, a great family, and very blessed for that. I grew up in like the same house my whole life, so it was just very like wasn't as like moving around as much.
In Colorado?
In Colorado, yeah, in Arvada. And what I remember is just I don't know, just trying to always, I think, be creative, I guess. And from that picture, it's hard to don't remember too many details. But the house was like, it felt a very musical house. Like no one played instruments or anything. But my dad loves like classic rock. He has a big vinyl collection. So I grew up with like the Stones and like the all this like that classic stuff. And listened to music a lot. And my sister was always into like media. She did like dancing. I did like dancing and like theater stuff. So I guess it was always surrounded by a little bit by music was motivation for just, I don't know, I was in piano lessons in the 4th grade. And that came from me just like going up to the piano and just hitting random things and like finding what a chord was and being like, "Ooh, that sounds good." And I think they saw the intuition of just like, "Oh, he likes this. Let's put him in lessons." So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a couple interesting things there. The first is that you grew up blessed and you had like I think you said your family was great. What do you mean by that? Like, why do you say your family was great, or why do you say your upbringing was
just like the support. And I feel like my older sister, she's 6 years older than me, and so we were just kind of like in that, like sometimes we're best friends, sometimes we're enemies, but like her family was always I don't know, just very supportive of everything, and it was great, very like blessed. I can't think of anything too crazy that was like going on that was like stood out. It was very like normal in a good way.
Sure.
There was like fights in the house with like because she was a teenager, and I was a young kid, so I kind of witnessed some of that, and I didn't like a lot of that. But that was like the only thing that kind of I could think about that maybe would be molding in that sense.
Sure. So it sounds like you guys had like an off and on relationship. Like you weren't super close, but you weren't like super distant either.
Yeah, just like 6 years. So like there would be those moments where like we used to do like a lot of like home videos together and stuff, and it was fun. And then there was like the part where she went to college, and then you're just like not in your life as much. But then there's like the in between, which is just like I think normal sibling stuff, like fighting over what to watch, demanding each other around, sometimes being mischievous together, sometimes tattling on each other.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Totally.
I remember one time I helped her like get into the dad's office with this key, and she like snuck through the window because like they're out of town. She wanted to AIM or something, and I was just kind of going along with it. I had nothing to benefit from it in the long run except maybe just helping her out. And maybe to have blackmail, but I don't know. I was too young for that. I feel like I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you do this, but you're gonna let me do that. But I feel like I was like at the age where that wasn't going through my mind, but maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so your parents, you said, were supportive. What did their support look like?
They just from the music stuff, like recognizing that I like doing music and stuff, and like putting me in lessons and like dealing with my practicing piano, and supportive in that way. They're business owners. They own their own bridal store.
Cool.
And so my dad was always like more at home and like doing the accounting and all that kind of stuff. My mom would go and work at the store and manage it in person. And they were just like, I don't know, supportive in the fact that financially, and then also just ideologically, we were actually put in Christian school growing up, even though no one was Christian. And it was just because it was like it was like cheaper than daycare, I guess. And it was like just good for morals. And then when I wanted to like switch out of it, they're like, okay. Cause I saw my sister tried to switch out of it in high school into like normal school, and it was very hard and stuff. So I was in like 5th grade and I was like, oh, my friend's going to the public school. I want to go to public school. And they're like, okay. It wasn't like, based in like heavy religion or anything other than what's best for me, or they thought.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that before, where like
Yeah.
someone's parents like, yeah, we're gonna put you into a religious school because like we're not religious, but it might be good for you.
Yeah, it might be good for you. And I learned this actually recently, that I was like, because we're asking like, why did you put us in that if you're not religious? And they said a big reason is it's cheaper than like daycare for like the grand scheme of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, thought that was interesting. And yeah, that school experience was definitely molding in the fact that I was like, maybe I don't like religion. Even at that young age, I was like, this seems kind of weird. I can't wear Harry Potter shirts to school. I can't wear shorts to school. Like, I just didn't like that aspect of it. And you weren't taught like sex education and stuff in like 5th grade. So I remember going to public school and being like, oh, this is so much better. And my best friend is here. So even though that was a hard thing, do it with your friends and made it easier. Because that was just 1 year, because we switched. It's like 1 through 6th grade, and then 7 and 8th, and then high school is different. So it's like 3 different places.
Yeah. Well, it's also really cool that you saw kind of the transition being hard from your sister, and you having, if she's like, going to high school, what are you going to high school at, like 14, 15? And then you're like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
That's pretty like good awareness to be like, I actually don't want to do that.
Yeah. And she's, I think she tried and then went back. I think that's why I made it memorable too. She like kind of like tried and then was like, I can't do this, too hard. Boyfriend at the time, stuff like that. Went back to her comfort zone and then eventually left for the last like 2 years. And then I enjoyed it, saw how much she did like it too, which helped.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, I want to do that.
Totally. Was there, small moment from your childhood that you remember that had like an unexpectedly large influence on you growing up?
I don't know. Influence. I think I was thinking about this earlier today with like the whole, I mentioned like there was fighting as far as like teenage sister and parents. Like she was sneaking out sometimes, I don't want to throw under the bus, but she's just doing some things, that teenagers do. And I was witnessing it as a younger kid. So there would be some fighting and stuff. And this memory did come to mind because I guess it hasn't left, is that one time there was like fighting going on. She was in trouble. And I just had this whiteboard and I wrote like, please stop fighting, and put it outside of my door.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, maybe I can't. I don't know if I can do anything. This is what I can do. So I feel like that kind of maybe molded me in a certain way of like, how can I help when I feel helpless or something? As a kind of a deep memory I had for sure.
That's really interesting.
Maybe that's why I like loud music now. Kind of shuts out the noise.
Let's pull these. This is great.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Yeah,
I really
stuff.
appreciate that you were thinking about it. You're like normally people share things and like, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze, but by nature of my curiosity, like I end up psychoanalyzing, and they're like, wow, I never thought about that. But you're like, yeah, I've thought about everything.
Yeah. I was listening to it on a long 12-hour plane ride, so I was like thinking about things, and so it's good. But yeah, I think I was like, I do think about that. Like, why do I like this crazy music? Why do I like screamo too and all that? Maybe it was to shut out the noise.
Interesting.
I didn't have that exact thought till just now, but
yeah. Well, that's actually a really good segue into kind of how you got into the music, because you didn't start by like the heavy stuff, as you talked about. You mentioned with the piano. So I'm curious, well, ultimately like how you got started, but then what changed when you got into like the heavier stuff, maybe some of the EDM stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe like take us back to the beginning with you on the fake drums and a piano in the background.
I think a big part of it, I was doing piano, and then I was in like 4th grade, and you're doing like the, learning the piano, learning songs, and that was fine. You practice like half hour a day, and you're reluctant, usually like, I don't want to do it, but then you do it. And that kind of went on through, I stopped lessons, I think 11th grade in high school. So it's kind of like that big period. I was doing a lot of lessons, and I feel like I got pretty good at piano.
Why are you doing lessons?
Just to like get trained. So like learn how to read music and play music. Not necessarily trained in that way. get into that with college. But I think I was just doing lessons because I liked playing. I liked the outcome of it, even if I didn't like the practicing of it, which I think it's pretty like normal at first for sure, because you are doing scales and boring stuff. And I always thought was like, I just want to play the song. How can I just play the song? It's like people now who want to ask me like, how do I be a producer? I'm like, I got to learn how to like all the stuff beforehand to make the song. So it's a journey. So I really liked enjoying playing the music. I was learning how to read music, which I liked. I was always reluctant for counting because I'd be like my ear. I'd be like, you play it, teacher. They play it. And I'm like, okay, now I know what the notes are. I'll play it. But I couldn't like look at the sheet music and then like get the rhythm down every time. I'd have to like hear it. It's like a random thought, but learning by ear rhythmically for sure. But so I did piano a bunch, and then I think and I listened to whatever my dad listened to. I listened to what my sister listened to, a lot of like Fall Out Boy and like pop punk and all that kind of stuff.
I was a big Fall Out Boy fan.
Yeah, they're so good. So that's kind of my thing. And then I felt like I was getting into my own, like, ooh, I like this because maybe I'm not allowed to like it or something, like Tenacious D and like kind of like vulgar music or like rap music at the time. I was like, ooh, Eminem.
How young were you at this time?
Probably like 7th grade,
Okay.
8th grade. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of skipped it forward, or I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, whenever that like, yeah, I just got my hands on Eminem and I was like, I like this. Maybe partly because it's like rebellious, but also I do like it. I like the aggroness of it.
Sure.
And the funny parts of it too. And then my friend in like, I think it was 7th, 8th grade showed me Infected Mushroom. It was like, still this day, incredible, but they're like psytrance. And I was like, what is this? Like electronic music. This is cool. And at that time I was also really into like heavy metal, like Asking Alexandria. I mean, that's the first example, but that's what I liked a lot. Screamo, Attack, Warped Tour as much as I could, like later in high school when I could go. But I was into that stuff. And when I was into the metal part, I really was fascinated by the breakdowns. I think a lot of like dubstep artists will agree with just like, oh, that part though, where it like drops down, usually like a big sub drop and stuff like in the production. I was like, what happens when like the bass hits harder and the song gets crazier? I like that part a lot. So then I think like 9th grade was when I discovered like from Infected Mushroom and kind of getting into this, like, what is this like music I like seem to resonate a lot with. I got into like the whole like Excision, like 2009, Caspa, I think Dasik at the time, all those people, like pretty much Canadian dubstep or their take on it. And then like eventually Skrillex and all that. And then I really was just like focused on metal and dubstep. That was like on my iPod.
That's fascinating. So you started playing the piano because there was something inside of you that like really enjoyed playing and creating music, and like you just said, playing the song, not necessarily learning the scales.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kept you learning the piano and kept you going. What I guess I'm just not clear. It's not clear to me like what drew you to the electronic side of things, because like it's a pretty stark jump from like, you know, classical piano to like heavy metal or psytrance.
I think what kept me playing piano is definitely my dad, like keeping me on it and doing it, and wanted to get better myself and wanted to play certain things. And I guess when I was learning piano, it wasn't just like classical music. It was like blues songs and like Christmas songs and all the stuff you want to learn and play for people. So then when I was, I guess, yeah, the Bridget, when I was getting into like metal and stuff, I was like, I can't play metal on piano. Like to at least you can, but I don't know. It wasn't like the grit that I wanted. So I kind of got into, a big thing was Guitar Hero. That kind of bridged the gap for me, as funny as it is, because I got Guitar Hero, I loved it, but then I got the Guitar Hero with the drums, like the whole set. So now I'm playing it, and I got to the point where I was like playing it all the time, and I was like playing the drums on Expert Plus mode, which is like the double bass and stuff. So I feel like I was playing the actual songs.
Wow.
And then in one version of Guitar Hero, Guitar Hero, there is like a studio where you can like record all the bits individually and then put them together. And I also had a keyboard I got, I think, in the early high school, where it had 5-track recording capabilities. So I could like record a piece, second track, record a piece, and that had different sounds. That had drum kits, saxophones, all that stuff. I think one of the first things I ever did is the Office theme song. I was like, okay, I love the Office theme. I want to like record it. And it's still on my piano to this day, that recording.
No way.
So I really got into the fact of like, oh, this music is like layers, and piano is just a layer of it. Drums is just a layer of it. Then I got deeper into it, and I'm like, oh, drums is actually like 16 microphones just for one drum kit. Like this would be like top snare, bottom snare, tom, room, overheads. Like it's insane. So I was really fascinated by the technical part of all that in recording. and that kind of drew me more into like electronic music and how that was made. Because I'm like, okay, I was interested in how all music was made, really, not just electronic music. But electronic music was the most accessible to like practice and like do it yourself, right? So I guess if we're in high school and stuff, I'm listening to like heavy dubstep, heavy metal, all that stuff, and going to shows, Warped Tours. Now I'm in high school and stuff, and so I'm like, okay, how can I make this myself? Another big shout out would be Big Chocolate, who I actually got to meet recently and put a song out with, kind of, which is crazy. But he's the one who, like, I was like watching this man go from like he did metal and he did dubstep and he put it together on YouTube in this program called Logic, and was like, I was like, he has the yellow Rocket speakers. I gotta buy the yellow Rocket speakers at some point in my life. I think I did before, or no, after my first year of college. But I finally got those speakers. I got the DAW he was using. When he switched to Ableton, I switched to Ableton. It was like I followed that man for a long time. It was very inspirational. So, yeah, I guess to not get lost, I was listening to metal, dubstep, and trying to figure out how to make it. And so then in school, in high school, freshman year, I got offered or like connected with the theater department, and they're like, you want to come build props for the theater or whatever? And I was like, that sounds interesting. I like that. Because I was in something called Starbound before, like in middle school and younger, where we were doing like Broadway numbers, singing and dancing on stage.
Okay.
Doing it with my friend at the time, who eventually got hired with me at Pizza Hut. So do it with your friends. But he and I, or not him, but doing that Starbound really made me want to do more theater stuff. And I was like, that's cool. But then I got to this prop
like
build
thing.
Performing, yeah. I think, but it was still behind the scenes. I think is still what like kind of like triggered my interest. But then when we got there, they're like, oh, we actually need people for the sound and lighting. And then these people called the Noise Boys, they called themselves, like, you want to like come see what we do? And there's literally like a soundboard, kind of like in there. And so for musicals and plays, everyone's like mic'd up, and you have to kind of navigate that, unmute mics, mute mics, live perform kind of sound. So then I got into that. So I actually ended up doing that 3 of the 4 years of high school, where I was like running the soundboard, and for musicals you have to mic the band, you know, and so run all that, and the dress rehearsals like 5 nights a week while doing a job at the time. It was crazy. But I really fell in love with like, wearing all black, being behind the scenes, microphone, you know, being like, do this, do that, and running the sound. I thought that was really cool.
One of the things that I'm gathering as you're sharing is kind of your fascination with, or I call it fascination with like the how it's made, like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You just said, as you were describing, you wanted to learn how all music was made. And I'm not saying no other artist that I've had on the podcast hasn't thought that yet, but you're the first to like say it, at least in my memory. It's like, oh, I just wanted to learn how everything was made. And now here you are, you know, going into like, you know, the more Broadway show area, but like behind the scenes, like learning what it takes to actually put this thing on and like be a show.
100%. And to this day, my YouTube algorithm is like so nerdy of like how it's made. My girlfriend makes fun of me all the time. Like, we want to watch a documentary again? I'm like, yeah, I want to learn. I'm literally watching, Cheez-Its. How are Cheez-Its made? I love Cheez-Its.
Oh, so literally like the show.
Yeah.
That's such a good. I'm glad that that's come through.
You caught on that. I was watching the other day how they routed this sound for Wicked. It was like the most mind-blowing thing ever. I'm like, what? So I love that to this day.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, is that something in your family? Is anyone else in your family like nerd out on really complex and esoteric things?
I think my dad, for sure. I think he's like, when I found the video for Wicked the other day, I emailed it to him. Like, you're really going to love this. And he brought it up in person. He's like, that was so cool. So it must be where I get it from, because they own their own business. So everything was DIY. So I kind of got the behind the scenes of that, I feel like. So when their business, they would like move to another store, instead of like hiring out people or doing whatever, my dad like built it himself and like had me help along, you know, building dressing rooms and drywall and things you never done before, but just saying yes and like figuring it out. It's another aspect I feel like I learned from him specifically, for sure. And that definitely bleeds into a lot of what I do now, or what I have done, of just like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. But like figuring out, especially with YouTube now and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think the curiosity comes from that, doing a lot of home projects. One time we put a window in our house, you know, no training on that. We're going to figure it out. Or like you get like a directions for something and he just like throws it out, and it's just like that.
That's your dad.
Yeah, kind of like half serious, but like, we don't need that. Or, you know, you have an extra screw at the end. It's like, well, hopefully that wasn't that big a deal, you know? that kind of like, yeah, go at it with a light heart, but with good like work ethic. It should be good.
That sounds really formative.
Yeah.
You know, your dad being very curious, open to experimentation, just exploration.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't surprise me that you really took to that or like inherited some of that or learned from him, like learned that stuff from him.
Yeah.
Because my dad, and this isn't a bash on my dad or my parents, is like they weren't like that at all. Like it was not even DIY. Like I didn't grow up in a household that was DIY at all.
Okay.
And so it's really cool to see how that's like come through and kind of shaped you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, yeah, to this day, like little garbage disposal replacement. Like my first thought is like, how I got to figure this out. It's not like, who do I got to call? Unless it's something way beyond, that I can do. But it definitely is like, I was doing a video the other day. I'm like, how can I have something in my head. How can I do this? I'm not the most video technical person, but I figured it out. And when I did click and I got like, it was like me in front of a poster, like, or something in real time. And I was like, oh, I did it. And like that satisfaction, I think is amazing. It's what drives me to this day for sure.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I completely agree because I've developed like DIY skills just by like starting my own things, doing my own things.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment of satisfaction. Oh,
yeah. When it goes from your head to physical or audible or whatever it is, it's like, that's what keeps it going. Like, oh, I can do it again, or I can do it bigger, or I can do it in this way or that way. But yeah, I guess, yeah, we were talking about the YouTube DIY. Oh yeah, so
no, that's good. That was a great thread. That's just like, I love where you never know where this is gonna go, and that was just like a really good vein we explored. Wow, now I'm like I just completely lost my train of thought.
I guess my thought goes from, I was in school running this board and having fun doing that. And
yes, we were talking, but that's how we got like the Broadway Stars, whatever it was called.
Yeah, Starbound.
Starbound.
Might be on the internet somewhere, probably not though. But yeah, singing and dancing, and I liked it, but I didn't like the spotlight as much as maybe like the behind the scenes interest. I would always like look at the microphones, like how those working. So when it came time for like college and stuff, I was like, what do I want to do? And my first and only really thought was like recording engineer. Because I want to like, when I learned about how movies, every sound in a movie is put in afterwards for the most part, and even a lot of the dialogue is put in afterwards. It's called like ADR or something, automatic dialogue replacement.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like the time you watch a movie, they close the car door. It sounds like a crazy car door. That's 100% put in afterwards.
That I knew, like the sound effects, but I didn't know the dialogue.
Yeah, because if it's like windy, there's a helicopter shooting, like they can't get that in the clean audio. So I learned about that. I was like, I'm gonna go to like a recording school, and the one close to here is CU Denver, and they had a good like recording arts program, and that's like the only school I applied for and got in. So it wasn't the hardest thing to get into, but I just like did the one shot. I was like, all right, I have a good GPA. My ACT was trash, but balanced each other out.
Why did you go to school? Like, what were you hoping to get out of it?
I think I went to just to be the guy like recording the bands, right?
Okay.
I feel like that's like my mindset. I was like, I love metal, whatever music. I didn't know how dubstep was made at the time or anything either. I just figured it was all just made in music studios with people, and that looked really cool in front of the cool boards. And how can I make this sound that makes people like, when I heard like a breakdown of a band or I saw them live, I just be like, oh, it's so sick. How are they making this like soundscape gigantic and overwhelming? And an experience that like can take over your body and mind, and the lyrics and stuff. I didn't even pay attention to the lyrics. I knew they were like grotesque, a lot of them, or maybe hopeful or whatever, but those hit me later on in life, and I listened back to them and I was like, damn, those bands, they understood. I just like the sonics of it before. Then I get into like the actual song of it later in life, and I'm like, okay.
Well, do you remember what you liked about the Sonics? Because I mean, you had that comment of like, maybe I just wanted loud music to drown out the noise. But like, do you remember the feeling that you got like listening to some like really heavy metal?
I feel like it was just like almost like adrenalized energy, especially because as soon as I got the ability to, I got like, or listened to on a sound system with a subwoofer, especially like the bass drops, because there's big bass drops in that metal stuff. And I was just like, it just overwhelmed me with energy for sure. When I go to the shows, I'm just like, I wasn't like a big pit kid, but I like wanted to be. I'd try it here and there. Too much of a scaredy cat. But I think the feeling is just like energy and like awe, and like kind of like a big jump scare in a movie where you're just like, oh, it makes your heart race for a second, but like not in a scary way.
Yeah.
Like a cool way.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, like, I listen all the time, but I really love Tear Out. Like, vulgar, like Nimda Tear Out.
Totally, yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but it makes me feel alive. So my following question is, was there, like, growing up or like in this similar time period in your life, was there anything else that gave you this similar like feeling internally with the energy, the adrenaline, like the
I think like playing a song good, like on a piano for we did recitals and stuff, and so it's nerve wracking going up, and then but you practice your like 2 songs, whatever, and you play them, you mess up a little bit, you recover, and then it gives that little like performance adrenaline for sure, which you still get today. But I feel like that was similar. I feel like Call of Duty at the time, I was very addicted to that growing up. If we get to round 30 in zombies, it'd be like that feeling, you're like, yeah, with your friends, Guitar Hero, you know, big moments like that. And I think that's pretty much what I can remember of it.
Okay, so you decided to go to CU Denver. It was the only school you applied for.
Yeah.
Which is why didn't you apply to more schools?
Because I was like, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, if not that, then I'll figure it out. But yeah.
And so at this point, you knew you wanted to work kind of like in music in some capacity.
Yeah, music or film. Like
Okay.
I say audio in general.
Audio. Thank you. It's a better way of putting it. And no really inkling yet that you might produce music.
A little bit in high school. I think my sister got me this little Newmark controller DJ thing, but my first thing with the production side was I got like a Fruity Loops demo on my computer, family little computer I'd ruined by downloading. Oh yeah, I'd download so much music on LimeWire. Like when I learned what a zip file was, I don't know if it was new at the time, but I was addicted to getting music. That's for sure. That's probably maybe the DJ side where I was like, I love. Oh, that feeling you mentioned before when I would show someone else a song I liked and they liked it. I think that feeling would come up a lot because I loved finding. I still to this day like don't look at the artist, don't look what it is, just listen to it. And if you like, oh, or like this is cool, or if you ask who it is, it's like, yes, I win. I got like a little win in that. Like if you Shazam it. But I love like showing people music without the prejudice or without like the not prejudice, but like like expectation of who it is. Maybe it's something they don't like or do like. Or I play people like Pop Goes Punk a lot. And like so it'd start really like a Taylor Swift song, and then it would screamo drop, and they'd shock them, and I'd get some satisfaction out of that. Like, see, it can be cool, whether you like it or not. It gives you a feeling, you know. But so I was downloading music a lot. I was like I like Metallica a lot, so much. Oh, zip file, entire discography. Yes, I don't just want to download 1 or 2 songs I liked. I wanted to download the entire albums and listen to those as much as I could. And I kind of got addictive, I'm sure, at one point. I really wasn't listening to all this music I was getting, but I was downloading it. I was putting it in iTunes, LimeWiring it up. So, sorry, Lars Ulrich. But I was doing that. And then production-wise, I was really interested in how it was made. So I got Fruity Loops, and there's a free demo with like a little sequencer. And I think the first thing I ever made was like a metal drum part. Because I was like, I know how to play piano. I don't know how the drums work, but I know I love like a double. It's like a and like then the ticks do all the rest. So I programmed this like really robotic metal breakdown that was like 3 minutes of just different breakdowns happening. And I was like, this is cool. I remember like showing that to people. I do remember on my iPod Touch there's a DJ thing on there, and I was mashing up. This says a lot about me now. I was mashing up a Dane Cook bit over a Carnifex breakdown. And I was like, that's funny. It's like this like really instrumental, heavy moments going over while this guy is telling a funny joke. It's like dialogue over music. It's kind of what I love doing now. But
yeah.
I remember sitting on my couch, vivid, being like, that's crazy. If I just loop this breakdown and then play, I think it was BK Lounge from Dane Cook. And I was like, this is funny. I've never heard that before.
So this is in high school?
Yeah, this is in high school.
Okay. So yeah, so then it's really starting to form.
Yeah.
It sounds like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, oh, there's a spark here.
Yeah.
I like really understanding, but maybe I also like producing and like putting my own spin on things.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Because there's a spark, but it's still not like fully clicked yet.
Yeah, there's no like I'm going to be an
cool.
artist type thing.
Right.
I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of it. I enjoyed the curiosity of how things are made. And so my mindset was like go to school for recording, and then you can record bands and maybe like help them. Or there's producers in the sense of like Rick Rubin or those people who aren't like nerding out. They're like just like giving their, ideas and stuff. And I was like, that'd be cool to produce a band like that too and give ideas or just record them honestly. And so yeah, applied to the school, got in, and then that's when I got like my first laptop as like a graduation gift. I got like a 2012 MacBook Pro, which I still have. It still works, which is crazy.
That is wild.
I actually DJ'd on it for a long time because I would get like another computer and save that for like just DJing. And yeah, and that's when I got Logic Pro, because that's what Big Chocolate had, which is like a GarageBand on steroids type software. And I also remember going into the Apple store, maybe 10th grade, and they had like the computers up, and I saw GarageBand, and I remember like dragging loops on top of each other and being like, that's really cool. You can take a drum loop and a guitar loop and put them in this program, and now I have my own thing. So I do remember that vividly at the Apple store. So that was, I think, when I was like, I want a MacBook, because I would go to shows sometimes and see like the little Apple logo. I was like, what is that computer? Versus like my little, home PC thing that was really slow.
Yeah.
So I think all those little things definitely were bubbling up to like, okay, I'm going to go to school. If I'm going to go to school, it's going to be like music related or audio related in some form.
And do you remember like what your parents thought about, you pursuing this path?
I think they were supportive, but also at the same time, just like, whatever you want, like, sure, like, I'll support you. They're obviously like helping me through like the college whole thing and supporting me there, but definitely like questioning, like, you sure, this, that, but they weren't like, you need to go be a lawyer or anything like that, like in that spectrum, which is like very grateful for that.
Sure.
Because it is like a silly thing, especially nowadays. I feel like to maybe do that if you don't have a dedicated like path and route. And I was still in like the whole, senior year, like, what am I doing? But if I do anything, it should be this. And maybe they thought I would change my mind or something too.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen. Because it was like real classes along with like the music stuff too.
Sure. That makes sense. But you were like intent on going to college. Like, was that because they wanted you to go to college, or you just wanted like?
I think it was like like the cultural, like, or societal, whatever, like go to college. My dad went to college for accounting. I think he had not a master's, maybe a master's. Something else. We got that in like business, and then my mom went to college, my sister went to college. I was like, kind of just seemed like the thing to do, I wouldn't necessarily like, I don't think it was be like my idea fully, but also I didn't know what I wanted, so it's like hard to say.
Sure.
It seems like the safe path, I guess. And so I was like, well, if I'm gonna take the safe path, I might as well do the unsafe decision or something. I don't know. But yeah, just college is kind of like in the family. My dad also, he grew up like super poor in Detroit and got like a scholarship to go to college through like caddying.
Oh wow.
Like worked really hard and his whole life, blah blah blah. So that work ethic was kind of also imprinted on me, and also kind of like maybe expected of me to like, okay, if I did all this work to go to college and now we have the means to like help you through college, why say no or like derail? I didn't have anything else pulling me in any direction. If I was maybe trying to be like a touring artist, then I'd be like, fuck school,
Sure.
Which totally fair. But if in that moment I was like, yeah, it just seems right. Seems like the thing to do, because I have the opportunity to.
Totally.
I don't want to deny that.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you remember at what point like it clicked for you, where you're like, oh, like I actually do want to make this music, like this is how I want to be spending my time? Was it in college?
It was definitely in college, yeah, because I think I recreated that GarageBand thing because I knew how to play it. I was like, I'll do that in the software and learn a bit about it. But I got into this college, and like it's a crazy curriculum where like I missed out somehow in the first year of having to be in the program. So I was just going for like core classes. So my first year was really light. I had like 12 credits, 13 credits each. So I had like 4 classes, and we didn't have school on Fridays. So I had a lot and I took that first year off work. I also worked through high school, like at Pizza Hut. I did like paper route young. I helped at the business, So I was always like busy. I had a girlfriend, and stuff. So then when I got to college, I was like, oh, I don't have a job for the first time in like 2 years. And all I have time to do, I lived in fun dorms. And so I just did Logic. I just did it so much. I'd make so many beats, show like the roommates I had. Bless her heart. One of them still one of my best friends to this day. And we did music for a long time together and stuff. And that's a whole nother thing. But I pretty much at some point say like, we're going to go to this concert. We're going to go do this. I'm like, have fun, guys. I'm going to learn how to do this. And like, I would challenge myself to like have something done or complete or somewhere by the time they get back from their party to make my night like worth it as well.
It sounds like it was an obsession.
Definitely obsession. Shout out that movie too. But crazy. But yeah, definitely obsession. I think I was really, really interested in, I hear how good this music sounds from these people. I have the same software as these guys. How can I make that sound as good? I was definitely very, very obsessed with the sonics of it. More so than I realize nowadays than like the music part of it. I was like, I want to make good music, but like in my head, good music just sounds good. But I've kind of learned over the years that like a shitty sounding song is still better than like a really good sounding bad song, if that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense, but I mean, I don't necessarily know if I know the difference between music and sonics.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, exactly. It's like something you wouldn't know without like hearing them side by side. But like if you hear a song and like it sounds weird, I can't hear the vocal right. Like it's not hitting hard on this. It's not like drums don't come through. Or I just mean like a really good song could be played on piano, right, with a singer, and it's like that's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
But if you took like a really bad song, but it sounds really clean, very punchy, good sub vocals, but like it's just everything about it isn't as good, you choose like the worst song or the worst production with the better song over it. That's like a whole learning journey, honestly. Because at first you're just starting out, but I was in like this kind of school for like audio. So a lot of those years I was making like not the best music necessarily, but like that sounded decent after some years, I was like learning how to mix and stuff. So yeah, I had all the extra time with like the 12 credit hours. So I was using that time to fulfill my obsession and just like, it's just a fun addiction, I guess would be a good way to put it. Cause like that satisfying thing is when you export it and listen back in your car or whatever, and it sounds better than the last one. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm learning. And I think I definitely I feel like I learned it a little slower over time, maybe because I was like, I don't know, like in school, and I was like, I should be better than people who aren't in school. So like, maybe not like, maybe I'm not comparing as much as I should be, even though you shouldn't compare. I wasn't like, what I do now is like dragging a song I like. Mine sounds like this, theirs sounds like that. How can I make mine like that? I wasn't doing anything like that. I was just kind of like going off my own, I don't know, fact that I was in school for it, being like, it should sound good. I'm in school for this. Why doesn't it sound as good?
Interesting. So it sounds like there was some maybe pressure you're putting on yourself.
Oh, totally.
But it's interesting because like you were so obsessed. Like I'm so curious as to why you were so obsessed. And you made a comment that it was almost like an addiction. Whereas like I wanted like feeling like playing back the song after it's over and like feeling good that it came out well. Like in my head, I'm just like, well, why? Like what? Why? Yeah, why were you addicted? But you might not have an answer.
I think it is the sonics at the end of the day, because it's like if I make a thing and it sounds good, like how it's made, like how did he do that? And I'm figuring out slowly, because it's such a big process to learn how to make music, especially back then when it was like a little bit less tools. So it is from scratch and it's very confusing and like not as much tutorials on it, because the thing I went to school for was not teaching that. It was like a whole different side of it. And so it's kind of like figuring out. I do remember one time I got my first sample pack at the time, as Vengeance Electro House or something. And I was like, and I felt like so much like cheating, even because like in one night I had the ability and like maybe the taste, whatever. I dragged in these like loops and bass hits and all this stuff. And I made like a really good sounding, because all the loops already sound good. Like, so I'm like, oh man, I made a good song and it sounds good, but I cheated. I used these loops.
Oh, interesting.
Because I'm like about the sonics of it. So my satisfaction of that song, I think it's still somewhere in my old SoundCloud, is that it sounded good, but I didn't necessarily do the work that made it sound good. I just I made a good idea with good sounds, which is totally fine, obviously. But when I was in that learning, I was like, I don't know, I wasn't as proud of it as I would have been if I like went in and made all those crazy sounds I didn't know how to make from scratch or something, which is like kind of silly. But my goal was to learn the sonics, and so I was kind of like taking a shortcut there. So then I kind of veered away from that. I think I called the song like Vengeance Pack something. I wanted to give all the credit to the sample pack, even though I did put together like the beat, So that was like an interesting thing.
I mean, there's a thread that we could, I don't know if I really want to go there right now, but like there's an AI thread that could go down this path.
True,
because, and I'm not taking a stance on AI music, to be clear, but I think the people that do use generative AI were like, oh no, I'm just like using it to generate like these sounds or these samples, and then I'm assembling the song. Like, yeah, it's an interesting thread, but
yeah, I mean that thread, I think with my whole take on it goes through even to this day with that Subtronics remix. For some of I use like a sick drum pack from a friend that made the drums really good off the bat.
Peters,
yeah, Fracture, yeah. And I was just like, part of me was like, if I just made those drums from scratch or something, it'd be cool. Like, it's not very small, but I was like, man, I wish I knew how to make the drums sound like that myself. And Verse doing that. I even made a little video trying to promote his pack, because it's like the reason that song, a big reason, is because the drums are so sick. But I still put together the drums piece by piece, so sure. I can still take credit for that part of it. But yeah, I think that goes through my whole music career, honestly, is trying to be as original as I can be and learn the most I can. But sometimes the best results come from just the flow of, I'll get in that later, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
because I guess this is all freshman year.
Right. Well, now it sounds like you're obsessed, and it's almost like you're becoming a hermit.
Yeah, definitely hermity
So
vibes.
which isn't a bad thing. It's what happens when someone gets obsessed with something in a lot of cases. So what was that like? At this point, you're like, okay, now this is what I want to do. Like the obsession really sounds like to me, it's like, oh,
Yeah, but it still wasn't. I don't think it was still like artist. I wasn't like, I maybe uploaded a song to SoundCloud or something under Marc Mount, but it wasn't like this artist thing. I was still learning how to do this. Because so for school and in general to be prepared, because this first semester, like I said, I skipped out on something I was supposed to have. So it was really a lot of free time, but I wasn't doing music yet. It was all just like normal core math, blah, blah, blah. And so the next year, sophomore year, is when I had like a crazy workload because I had to make up for those things. I had to do like 21 hours of credits, which is way crazier. But there was like piano class and all that stuff, which I thought I could test out of piano class because I've been playing piano my whole life.
Right.
I go to the little test thing, and she's like, play an E major chord. I'm like, what? I can play like Flight of the Bumblebee, like some crazy piano shit, like Furley's, whatever. I could play like these songs, but I didn't know how they were made. In the music theory sense, I'm like, what's an E major scale? That's probably partly me just not listening to my piano teacher, because I think she'd always say the words theory, and I'm like, who cares? I just want to play this song. So then I got a big, hit in my face of like, oh, you don't know anything about piano, like as far as this side of it goes. So I had to go into piano 1, and I learned so much about music theory.
That's what's fascinating to me.
Uh-huh.
There's contradiction in that, in kind of the theme of your story, where like you were obsessed with like learning how to make things when it comes to like producing your own shit, but you weren't obsessed about like the music theory that made a lot of like the piano to that, or the songs or whatever, to that day. So it's like that obsession, like if you were just as obsessed with piano as you were with, freshman year, like producing those songs, you might know what an E major scale is.
Yeah, true. I think my understanding of it was how the song is made is because the notes on the paper. And if I can read the notes on the paper, then I can construct the song. I wasn't thinking of like why the notes are on the paper. I was just thinking like, oh, because I wasn't playing a lot as much in different like keys and stuff. I feel like a lot of the stuff I was playing was like, it was whatever key it was, but it just didn't clock, I guess, to me. It didn't make sense that like the theory behind it is really why these songs are cool or hard or easy or whatever it is. So that is interesting. I don't know why. It just was not clocking.
Hey, I gotta get some. If you're gonna do some of the psychoanalyzing, I got to get some.
No, as I was saying it, I was like, yeah, why wasn't I interested? but I think my interpretation of it was the reason how is because the notes on the page.
Yeah,
but I wasn't thinking like, oh, I got to make my own notes on the page. Because when I did learn like the blues scale, for example, I was like, oh, this is cool. You can just make your own thing. I remember also like merging In the Hall of the Mountain King and For Elise on the piano. I was like, oh, they have the same kind of melody aspects. It was like da 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 da. I would like do those mash up together or something. So it's like there's definitely curiosity for sure, but I definitely wasn't like, why are these notes sound bad and these notes sound good as much.
So you don't get tested out of piano.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
It's like, yeah,
piano
psych.
1. Learned so much about that. It was really fun. But yeah, so now it's like, now I'm getting into the recording thing, but I need to like practice. There's studios you can use and stuff, but like, I still have my Logitech speakers and stuff, little things at home, but I was like, I don't have bands to record. And so I'm just going to keep making this music and see if I can get it as good and take all the skills and techniques I'm learning from class and put it into electronic music. It's kind of funny because electronic music's like samples and sounds, usually it's like so different in hindsight. It's like night and day, but there is still core principles. So if we learned in class about mixing a drum kit, I'll like go home and like load up. I remember I got this thing called Easy Drummer, which had individually mic'd drums, which you can kind of like mix at your own pace and stuff. So I was kind of practicing a lot by like making songs, mixing them, yada yada yada, and then I was just getting more and more into electronic music. And I think the whole artist thing came about when I got my internship at Beta Nightclub, which is like not sophomore, I guess senior year of college, like 2016, 2015. Before that, I'd definitely seen in these studios, and there was other electronic people there, not too many. But I remember watching a guy like produce on Ableton in the front of the thing. And I was like, how is he doing that? That's so cool. And like whoever this guy would say something and then he would like make it come alive, you know, whether it's like a beat switch or whatever it is. I was just like, that's cool. And so by the time I got to this thing, which was like a visual audio internship, because that's how you get jobs in this industry, and you probably most likely would be in LA. You'd get an internship at a studio, be like a runner, and then like work your way up again and again. That's why school's kind of silly for it. School's more for like, I feel like movie sound and stuff, but either than it's all like internships. So I was like, okay, this is an internship. It's at a nightclub. That's dope. Shout out my sister for that. It was like her friend who needed a replacement for this guy, and it was like free work, obviously, for me. I was working at Cheesecake Factory at this time, and who I loved all those coworkers, a big reason. And I had like 2 friends hired, so that whole job was a whole story in itself. But so much fun at Cheesecake Factory, even though that job was ass in hindsight, but also got me in shape. So
wow,
yeah, I was
what
like,
a
bus boys.
What a soundbite, dude! My job at Cheesecake Factory got me in shape.
Yeah, just carrying around these bus tubs for like a whole block
Looking
and
good,
a half.
man. What's your new regime? I got a job at Cheesecake.
Yeah, getting some money and lifting up some plates, because the Cheesecake Factory is a lot of plates, you know, a lot of heavy glasses,
big dishes, big menu.
Prom would come in 18 top. They don't eat any of their food. They're all drinking or nervous, and I have to bust that table full of waste all the food. That part was like, geez. And it was just so busy, so busy. It's on 16th Street Mall. Crazy job.
Oh wow.
The lobby would be like unwalk-throughable. So that's when I got good at like walking through crowds, which is a skill I gained at the club, and now I use every show. I just kind of, you can get around people nicely and smoothly.
As long as you say excuse me.
Yep, excuse me and get out of the way. I'm just kidding. No. Or if you're in the middle of a crowd, you need to get out, just like pretend you're about to puke. We'll get out of your way real quick.
That's a good strat.
Yeah, because you actually might need to use that someday. You're like, I need to get out of this crowd right now. No one's moving. You're just like, start like, move. People will spread the Red Sea for you. I've never done that, but I thought about it. But yeah, I don't know where we were, I guess.
So we were when the EDM producer thing clicked, is because you mentioned that you got a job at Beta Nightclub.
Yep.
Or internship rather.
Yeah, so I was doing like visuals for the side room upstairs, and immediately like fell in love with like, what is going on here? This is incredible.
But you were still toying, so it was freshman year. Now we're in senior year. You were still like producing your own sounds?
Yeah, the whole time I'm in school, there's like assignments. I'm doing them electronically. I'm kind of like really falling more in love with the producing side of things versus the recording side of things. It was like the initial reason I got into it. They go hand in hand to a degree, but like there's a class where I made we took a scene of the Karate Kid and deleted all the sounds and recreated it. It took the entire semester between 4 of us to do it.
Wow.
I was like, this is really hard.
Wow.
It's fun. It's creative, but it's not like what I want to do every day. Or like if you're recording bands, you're just kind of like, the reality of it is you're like sitting there not having much creative. It's just all technical. It's like hit record, especially like in that job, you do a lot of rappers and stuff. And it was just not what I wanted to do. Cause then you just have the track and you're recording vocals over it. You're not like doing much mixing or anything either.
It sounds like a lack of creativity.
Yeah, lack of creativity. There's creativity in like the way you mic up an instrument and a drum, and there's so much there too. That's why it's like a recording engineer. It's like honestly a whole different job. And that usually is like a big producer will have a recording engineer doing all their work for him. Be like, because they'll have the idea, but then like you do it. Maybe they have a note the recording engineer does about stuff. But I kind of realized that. I realized like working on movies, you're just kind of alone in a dark room looking at a movie doing it, which is kind of like what I can do now, but with not as like your own thing. So I really fell in love with that. I feel like I realized I had a good taste for like what I liked, or people liked what I liked, like either sharing music with people or making the songs were getting better. I started working with friends who were singers and songwriters and instrumentalists. So even had like an old music group called Inducive. It was like me and my old roommate. We put out like a bunch of music.
I wish I found that in my research.
Yeah, there's so much. There's a Marc Mount SoundCloud, which has like a lot of the stuff from college. There's like a one that's called like, it was an ambient beat challenge or something for a course, because I did like a thing called electronic music production. It was like a little like extracurricular thing you could do. And that was really fun. But a lot of that's on there. But yeah, Inducive was like a really fun like learning experience for doing like combining like jazz, pop, electronic. At the end of all those songs, you'll hear my little solo. I'm like, let me do what I want to do now, like fully. And it'd be like the little like vocal chop break Kygo thing or whatever it was at the time I was into. I'd also just always good or bad, I'd always like hear something and want to figure out how to mimic it, like learn it. So like my genre was always, I was never in like a genre or like a thing. Like Kygo would come out like, ooh, what's he doing? Oh, he's doing like this pentatonic scale and it's like this plucky thing and it feels really good. And then another artist would come out and like drum and bass. I'm like, ooh, how do you make the drum and bass? How do you do the house? So that's what I'm very like well-rounded in, I guess, what I've learned to love. And I'd also like take a song I don't like and I can enjoy it because I like the snare drum, you know. Give me the worst, like most annoying country song, I'll probably be like, that drum set sounds sick. I love that mix. It's a good mix. The background vocals, the way they sit just on the sides, oh, it's so good. Hate the song though, you know. I can kind of separate it, I feel like.
That's a very unique scale, I think.
Yeah, because I love pop music for the sonics of it. It's like insane. Listen to like a multi-million-dollar mixed album on like good speakers. You're like, these guys are knowing what they're doing compared to like something, you know, not as professional, anything else. You're just like, it sounds so different. And so I can really appreciate the largeness and like the technical aspect of the engineering that goes on to a lot of these songs. But yeah, so I was like producing the whole time and working with friends, working with doing projects, doing assignments. Like my school was so fun in a sense, for sure. Even though one of my favorite classes ever was abnormal psychology. It was not music related, but I really loved it. Talked about like addiction and talked about like psychosis and all this stuff. And I was like, that was like one of the classes that wasn't related to music. That was like, I like this a lot. Yeah. But it was also my worst grade I've ever got, C-.
Jeez.
So I
keep you away from typical classes. Stick you to the mood. But that's interesting. Why was that like one of the most fascinating classes?
I think it was just maybe because it was different than everything else. It was all music and all this and that. But I always think psychology is interesting. My mom was like, went to school for psychology. She didn't really use it or anything. But I feel like psychology is just how we operate, how it works, you know, how it works, but for people and emotions. So I really didn't like philosophy. That was another one where I was like, I liked the idea of it, but the class was just like talking and writing a lot. And I was like, it's all so many ifs and buts and this is and that. So maybe I would enjoy that class now after some more experiences I've had where like philosophy of things. But yeah, those are the two that stood out. And I really liked physics. I love physics. That class I took just physics 1 or something. The teacher had a really thick Italian accent, really hard to understand. But I really like how things work. So I guess it kind of threads that together.
I mean, that's like,
and physics of sound. That's when it comes together.
Oh, wow.
When I took that class, it was like learning how violins work, how speakers actually work, like the waveform versus like the physical movement. Really obsessed with like sub bass and how it hits and how it works. It's really like Subtronics' name, and he always says it himself, subwoofer in electronics, because it's a sick name and idea. But yeah. Was I going to? Where was I going? God.
No, you were just nerding out on music.
Yeah,
and I'm eating it up.
But yeah.
No, it's great, dude. So
physics of sound. Yeah, that's where.
Yeah, we were exploring freshman to senior year. That jump, and then like ultimately into Beta Nightclub.
Yep. Yeah. So much producing. I was leaning into more of like, ooh, maybe I could do some of this stuff, but I really didn't know what was the whole part of it. I really liked watching behind the scenes of bands too in studios, and like Skrillex would put out stuff. It'd be like, this life does seem pretty cool, and I feel like my music is getting pretty good. And I got to this club, and then I learned through osmosis what DJing was. Because I was like, the way the club was, both floors. The one I worked at upstairs, the DJ was right here, the room, and then you were right next to him, right here doing lights. You're just running this. It was 6 moving heads and like over like pixel board over top. And so in order to go along with the music, you're watching what they're doing, and then you're like following along. You know, you're like, if the music's going like, and you want like the whole room to pump, you're physically doing it with like a fader. And so I'm learning, and there was like 6 artists a night, and I worked there like Thursday through, at that time, Saturday, eventually Sunday. But like Thursday was all the local people who I now know and love so much, but it got me into it. But there's 6 sets. I'm watching 6 sets a night, this close, running their visuals for like, I don't know, probably 2 years I did that upstairs thing. Eventually started getting paid per night, and eventually got moved downstairs. But in that whole process, I was just like, okay, DJing. And then I met, I had an old friend from middle school who wanted to do DJing. And so we started doing it together, because like I make music. I don't know anything about DJing right now, but he had like a tractor board, and I was like, okay, you teach me DJing. We'll do some music together. And we ended up forming this thing called Parks and Rec. WERCK, get wrecked. And so he had a lot of friends and a lot of like, he's really good at talking to people. So he could bring people out to the shows. And so the first time I ever got booked, I was working one of those nights upstairs, and it's a bunch of crews, local promoters that bring in people. And this was Clutch Beats, ran by like Chocolate Drop and this guy Mostro Brian, and then I don't forget his name is. This guy Sook. Anyway, I think I gave him one song to play out once. I was like, I made a song, you should play it at the end. So he waited to the very end. There's like no one there. He played it. And I was like, oh, cool. It sounds good on a sound system to my ears. The Sonics is good. The song was probably awful, but it sounds good. And so he's like, eventually this guy, Brian, who I ended up working with at this dispensary later on, full circle moment. But I was like, you want to play on, I think it was December 11th. You want to play a set? Never DJ'd in my life. And I was like, yeah, sure. It was like in a month. I was like, I'll figure it out. So I figured it out, and a bunch of work with my partner at the time, and we're made the set, and it was full of original music. And that moment, playing that show, I think was what is this moment maybe you keep asking for, because I was like the highest high I've ever felt in my life. We were from 9 to 10, the first slot, because he knew a lot of people. I knew, my sister knows a bunch of people. And then it was like our first time ever doing it. And Facebook, I'm playing a show, blah, blah, blah. At like 9:10, fully packed. I'm not even like, that doesn't happen. So with these connections and just the way we promoted it. And then the people were like, holy shit, there's so many people here at 9:00. And I'd never, played a show or anything, but I played a lot of my music at the time too. I was like not afraid of it, just like, yeah, I made this, it's good. I made this, it's good. And it was like, I think that set is the first thing maybe on my SoundCloud to this day. It is still recorded and out there. And that feeling of just like, there's some videos of me just banging my head harder than you could ever imagine. I'm just like going crazy. And it was, I don't know. That was a crazy like high I've never felt.
What does the highest high of your life feel like?
Just like, whoa. It's like playing a song. I always describe it to like I said before, if you're playing a song to your friend in the car and they're like, whoa, that's cool. Like that feels good. Whether you made it or not, it's just something you found. Maybe they're underground artists. But then let's say you have like a car full of people and you're like, all right, who's on aux? I'll play it. And you play a song and everyone's like, this is good. And then you have like a bus full of people and you did that. And then now like a room full of people and you're like, I made this. And I played it and people like it, whether you made it or liked it, either way, that feeling is like very amplified when you made it. But in general, I was just like, oh my God, yes. I got to share this music I love with so many people.
Yeah.
And I'm like doing a good DJ set because I was watching so many DJ sets. I'm like, I know what works, what doesn't work, kind of taking notes mentally. If someone keeps playing a song and like deleted it from my library.
Like no throwing elbows.
Yeah, exactly. Which in hindsight, maybe I should have done that because it seems to work. Because I've been doing that recently and it's like, oh, it's so fun to play like the most banger song everyone already knows. Even just the original version. But
well, that's really fascinating. I have a thought on this because I'm relating it to my own experience, but since you like to psychoanalyze, I think maybe we can for a little bit. Because when I show someone a song and they like it, it's like, wow, like they like it too. Like, that's cool. They almost like validate my experience or like make me feel seen.
Yeah. They like you.
Yeah. It's like, wow, like, okay, like I'm valuable in this world, or like people see me for me or whatever. And I think that's how it feels to me. I'm curious if that resonates with you in sharing what you shared, the highest high of your life, but also now, being an artist for 10 plus years.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. It validates. I think validation is something I always seek as like an artist, and you spend so much time doing something that you love so much, you just hope other people like it too. But like when it becomes like the main focus, I don't think it's good. But it definitely is rewarding when you get like that validation of, especially someone like you respect, or like if you like if you can't impress someone who like you don't care about and like a personal level or something, then it's like different, I feel like, than someone you really respect. I love showing like Carissa, my girlfriend, songs that she loves. It feels really good. But if I show some random person on the street who's gonna hate it no matter what, I'm just like, I don't know. It's impressing the right people, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Well, because you care about the people that are closer to you, or people that you know, versus someone on the street you don't care about.
Yeah.
So
it's like the videos where like you're like getting random people to like listen to your song on the street and stuff. It's something like that's cool, but I feel like I would get way more reward of like showing it to like a friend if they never heard it. We do things with our friends too, where we like save songs to share with each other later, even though we always share each other music. We're like, save some for this night or this moment, and we'll share it later.
The beat offs.
Beat offs is one thing. This is called the portal.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Okay, let's skip the beat offs.
I beat off with my friends. Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
we
we're
all
probably
share
not
it.
going to get in the weeds, but go listen to the Toxic Taboo first episode. There's like a good 10-minute bit on
Yeah.
these beat offs.
Yeah, that is fun. Sharing your art immediately with a group of people who had the same resources as you. It's always so interesting to see the different outcomes. But yeah, just a quick note on that. The portal is just listening to a bunch of songs in the dark with your friends. And we save a couple for like that we haven't shown each other yet. And then like you're listening to it with them and the first time, and like it's a really magical experience. And there might be some mushrooms involved.
Might be.
But
Potentially.
you're just like, I made this, and they're like, you made this, and you're like, you made this, and it's just like, you never heard this before. And like, you forget sometimes. You don't forget, but like, you got to remind yourself how talented people you are and yourself and all that stuff, because it's crazy the growth over the years with doing those portals.
Yeah.
But
that's really cool. I there's a part of me that really wants to like go down my own portal rabbit hole, but I don't think it's relevant, so I'm gonna dial myself back. Because where the thread came from was like validation and like the highest high of your life, playing your songs that you're like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Like you have this set, you walk away from it. What's going through your head?
I was just like, I did it. I was so like nervous going into it, and then like the whole relief of doing it, and the fact that it was a lot of my own music, for like, because like I was such a producer before a DJ, so much so, and then the DJing was learned. So I just felt very like proud of myself, very accomplished, and just like, okay, maybe my music is decent enough, to be shown to people like that. And the promoters were so happy with the outcome of like the people who came, and so was I. But like, immediately we got like, that was a 9:00 set. The next set we got was booked was like I think 12 o'clock. Like it's similar time as the headliner downstairs, but it's still later in the night. And then we did like I think 2 more of getting better slots, and then eventually he's like, hey, because you work here and stuff, do you want to just like book your own night once a month or something and call it like friends? I think we called it Get Wrecked Thursdays or something. And our brand then was like trap music and just funny silly stuff. And then I'd like start booking friends and other locals, and then I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll put myself. And the point was for me to play. It wasn't like you book your own show and don't book yourself. It's like you're gonna play. You pick whatever night you can, and then you pick the lineup, and you can put yourself at 11 o'clock before the headliner downstairs, which is like the best. You could do it later. You can close out the night, whatever you want to do. Just like try to get some people in the door and get new faces in here. I was like, hell yeah, I got some friends who are good at this. I'll meeting people through this job. So we started doing that, and that was really fun. I made like a EP and several remixes under that name, but at the end of the day, it was mostly me doing it as far as the music goes, and then the DJing as well. It was just like not the best mashup for if I'm like thinking about, I'm like, is this gonna blow up and be a big career thing? Would I want to do it with this person? Probably not.
But at that point, like you want to become like a full-time artist.
Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing it every day in the club, which I think is like a whole like, well, if these guys can do it, I'm seeing like so many sets, and these are all locals at this point, because I eventually get promoted to go do the downstairs visuals. It's like my friend and I, Patrick, he's on lights and lasers, I'm doing the visuals, and now it's like the touring acts coming through right next. It's the same setup, like DJ booth, VJ booth right next to each other, not like front of house like normal. So the energy and like the experience is insane, just like being right there. So Parks and Rec I think ended in 2017-ish. I think our biggest thing was we got to open, once we did All Good Upstairs, then we got, okay, now we graduated to opening the main floor. So the first ever show, another really good experience, was opening for Knife Party. It was my first like big show like that, and it was like me, Knife Party, me, Dirt Monkey, Knife Party. Then Dirt Monkey Rusko was another one who did his Parks and Rec. And those 2 shows were incredible. I brought my parents to the Knife Party one, and I remember just like crying, because I remember looking at the screen, seeing Knife Party's logo, and be like, I just opened for them. My parents are here, and they're having fun, and like,
wow,
it was a very like cool moment for sure. Very emotional.
Yeah, why were you crying?
I think I just felt proud, and very like my parents are proud of me, like for doing this thing that's maybe so like hard to do, or like maybe in their eyes is like very questioned, or maybe my perception of it is that they're being questioned. Or, like, what are you doing working in this nightclub, doing this stuff? And then I'm like, you guys don't know this, but Knife Party is like, to my parents, and like, is like one of my first people I ever listened to, back in the day. And I got to play a show with them, and like, it was sick. I had dancers on the side of me. My dad got to see that. Parents just got to witness just like the thing. It's bigger than maybe it's hard to explain, when you bring someone to a show, you do that with your content, and it's amazing. I feel like your own parents is just like, oh my God. So I definitely cried. And I kind of wrapped up the Parks and Rec era of that.
Well, talk about feeling validated.
Yeah.
Here are your parents who, you know, I'm not necessarily just speaking for you, but probably like almost everyone wants to receive validation from their parents, maybe the most out of anyone in their life. And here they are, maybe some quiet skepticism about your career and whatnot. And you just opened for a big artist and you're doing the thing, and this is like a legit operation.
Yeah. 100%. And like my dad was just like, you're a rock star, because he's idolized so many rock stars. He loves Elvis and the Stones and like all these like rock stars, grow up learning about. And then he's just like, maybe it was like saw me as a rock star, and I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Knowing that they now like understood what you did and maybe had more of a belief in you, did that unlock anything in you?
I think so. Yeah. I think it just unlocked another level of support, whether it's like maybe went from like silent support, like you're saying, or like, silent skepticism, yeah, to like more like loud support and like, oh, you are a rock star. You did do this. So even to this day, I brought them to like Decadence, and stuff, and they like to come, and it's amazing. It's one of my favorite things to do. And then like play a song for them or remix a song for them or something. So yeah, that whole thing was amazing. And I was to the point where I was still working at this club. It was a big who you know type thing. But then like when push comes to shove and you have the opportunity to like crush it, because I prided myself on these 2-hour sets that like took the room from empty and then into like right before the next guy, versus just like coming out and slamming like whatever I wanted. I would like start with like hour of like chill house and then move up. And so I was really proud of like that position of opening and doing it right, in my view of especially a nightclub, like rising the night up. So I think that was also solidifying the skills and the taste I had when getting these like newer main floor bookings, and just the trust of the people who I worked with, because I was in a different department than booking, but there's a full circle moment there I can get to later. But yeah, and then I feel like I just like, I felt like I didn't like someone taking any credit for my work, I guess. At the end of the day, that was maybe a psychology thing of it too. Like we'd be together and someone would like compliment him on like a song or a track that like he didn't touch. And I was just like, I didn't like that feeling. So I was like, I can't do this for a whole career if this does go anywhere.
I mean, that's not surprising.
Yeah.
You didn't want to not give credit to the samples you were using.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like more of the same.
It's like, why are you taking, you have to, but yeah, it's like, don't take credit for things you didn't do, I guess.
Yeah.
In like my mind, after working so hard to get to that point of being good enough to do that. So that was something I struggled with a long time. And I was just like, all right, I just got to do my own thing. But I love the name Parks and Rec. I got to keep the name. But I ended up figuring out that's not a good idea. And I just didn't, this is a silly name. So then over like a bunch of brainstorming, Mport came to life. And I was like, I love the Mport stuff, Mport with the I. Just drop the I, M. My name's Marc Mount. I love M's. I've always loved drawing M's and mountains, and I just love M's. So we'll go that route. Made my logo, and then still working at the club and stuff.
I mean, were you like, what? Were you scared at all to like do your own thing and like start a new project?
For sure. I think.
How did you have the conviction then?
I just think the feeling I was feeling with that whole other situation was way worse than the fear of doing my own thing. I feel like being stuck in that thing I didn't like was scarier than doing something that I didn't know how it would work. And then I would like convince myself of like, you work at this like, it was like one of the biggest nightclubs in America at the time, and like you work here, if you take advantage of your situations, like meet the artists, like dude, I wasn't talking to artists and stuff. Promote yourself and take advantage of the opportunity. And like, how could it go wrong? Because if you're getting this much reaction from stuff now, and you're just pretty much beginning, and if you just do a cool new name, and just like do it your own way, it's got to work somehow, especially just the club was pretty much the biggest reason, because I had that foot in the door. And just like I went from watching 6 sets a night to like 3 sets a night, but like one of the sets would be like Big Gigantic and then Skrillex 1 point. It was like insane.
Yeah.
And then there was like, then I got the 4th night. So I like to say like I worked at a club watching like, I don't know, anywhere from 4 to 6 nights sets 4 times a week for like 5 years.
Yeah, you're in the dojo.
I was just like in it. Yeah,
that's funny. I joke about content. I literally was just saying this the other day. Where it's like, yeah, I just started making content, beginning of the year, but I've been watching YouTube every day for 10 years, or on social media every day for 10 years.
Yeah,
it's like that's your time. You're learning. You see what works, what doesn't work. You said early on that you started to see, oh, these guys can do it, and you're starting to develop this like self confidence or belief in yourself.
Yeah, it was very much like I'm seeing all these normal guys. That's when like the whole artist veil kind of was lifted, you know, from just like, oh my God, these guys, to just like, oh yeah, just a dude. He's traveling here and he's going to the green room and he's having fun, or he's not having fun and he's playing. And then it's, you know, the show does well, does not. It's just like the reality of it all kind of kicked in, but it was mostly positive from what I could see. And then I would start to like meet more people, and I was very like, I'm still like pretty shy, but I was shy back then. I like, I don't want them to be like annoying fan person. And then eventually over time, especially when I'd open up for an act, because then eventually I got like direct support, like residency. So I was, whoever would come in that fit my sound, because I feel at the same time was like 2017, 18, a lot of like harder rhythm was becoming a thing. And I was falling in love with like Wakan, which just had started, and I always loved the deep weird stuff. So I kind of became like we have like Liquid Stranger coming. Mport should be like on the bill for that versus other resident who does better, heavier stuff, you know? So kind of, I got in a lane pretty much. I did like the first ever Wakan takeover at Beta, which was sick. It was like me, Ellis Dream's first show, and then Essex and Liquid Stranger. And I remember I said like one thing to Liquid Stranger at that time, and I was like, thanks for the blah, blah, blah. And I was nervous and stuff, and he was super nice. And then eventually it opened up for like AT Aliens, they were in like that weird kind of heavy stuff as well. They're like some of the first artist people I got to hang out with in the green room, and just like fell in love with who they were, you know, and like I was like, I love your music and you as a person, or people, or aliens, whatever they are. And yeah, I don't know, just like getting more and more involved in like the social networking part of it.
Yeah.
In real life.
Well, what's really interesting, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, you know, looking into your story and understanding your trajectory, it seems like it's been consistently like, it's been gradual.
Yeah.
But like very consistently like trending upwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a typical trend upwards. There hasn't been like a crazy like spike, or it hasn't been flat. I just feel like it's really just trending upwards. Am I
No, 100%. Yeah. I think
and I feel like that's unique these days.
Yeah, it's very like this, and then like there's like maybe COVID, and then there's like big moments, and then it kind of like, but the big moments don't come all the way back down. They come like big moment, and then it'll come back down, and a big moment. And I remember having a meeting with my manager for the first time, and he's like, artist careers are always like this. Right? And I was like, cool, yeah, I could see that for sure. And he always kind of maybe chasing that upwards thing. But also a big thing he said was like, just make sure no matter what, you always enjoy the journey. Because like this isn't always as fun as you might think, or realistic, or I mean, it might not even want it, because, you know, harder they come, harder they fall type thing.
Sure.
So like you said, very much like I think about that often too.
Yeah.
Of just a gradual like consistency of sticking to it because I like doing it.
Yeah. Well, you said just a lot of nuggets in there. Loving the process is something that comes up a lot in conversations like these. And it sounds like you really can say that you've loved the entire process of this.
Yeah. And it comes with so many like, in a song even has like this whole thing of like emotion. Like I love it, I hate it, blah, 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 I'm not good enough, I am good enough. You know, it's this whole thing of like the creative mind, I think, in general. Yeah. And those moments and stuff really, help. Yeah. Push it through.
I would love to explore like some big turning points, shifts. The one that immediately comes to mind is maybe when you were signed by Global Dance. Would you say that was like a key early on pivotal one, or would you even go before then?
Probably a little bit before, because I feel like, we kind of went up to like 2018.
Yeah,
which
that's
is like
true.
crazy. It's
that's
still
like
so far
2021,
away.
Was it?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, okay, so we missed 3 years.
But I mean, the sum up those 3 years that like the club shut down.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck.
COVID.
Yeah, it actually shut down before COVID, so kind of was a blessing in disguise. So I had some like footwork, or I don't know, I had some like. Wasn't like a crazy surprise. We kind of saw it coming. And so then was it 2019? I took a trip to New Zealand, which like changed my whole life. First time ever, or second time seeing something so awesome. I went with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and that was right after the club closed. So it was like super low, super high kind of thing immediately. But I came back with
hold on. That sounds really important.
I mean, just
tell me about this trip. Why was it so,
So I'd been dating this girl, and we were together like 2 years or something, but she lived like in a different state in Wyoming. So she would come to the clubs on the weekend, and it was kind of like a whole thing of like work meets people and fun. For the most part, it was great. We're having like your girlfriend come like in the booth with you and hang out and all that stuff. And so we had this whole journey. She kind of helped me with that name, honestly, too. And just like, she's a creative person herself, and in like dance and all this stuff. So I feel like she was kind of pushing me to do like my own thing with it as well, and inspiring for that. And so as relationships go, it kind of like hit like turmoil and stuff. But that was right around the time the club was closing, which is like my home away from home. Like so much love and experience was in that place and growth. And so then the club was shutting down. Like I think the last show was like December of 2018, and then January 1st, I think we were flying to New Zealand. But before this all happened, I think we're like on like we're gonna probably break up kind of thing. So that kind of sucks, losing the club, losing like the girlfriend.
Yeah.
I had also like my car died. It's always 3, but my car I had since I was 16 just like stopped working. So I was like, oh no, that's like the least important of it, but it still happened. So on this trip, I'm like in the most beautiful place in the world I've ever seen, but I'm also like really hurting inside because I know like this thing that we have is ending, and it kind of feels like it comes together when you're on like a vacation like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I'm like, oh, we're gonna go back and it's gonna be all the same like it was, but because you're just in this thing. So I remember at one point I was on like a crazy beautiful beach, and just being like, yeah, it's over or something. It's just like very, very beautiful sight with very like shitty feeling inside.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's a culmination of things. It's like literally the closing the book of an entire chapter.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. Yeah, it was just the girl in the club and all that stuff. And then, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I kept jumping ahead. Like, then COVID.
Well, so, yeah, it sounds like you had like a deep moment of realization. Like, this is, I'm moving on. Like, how do I do
this
your
about the
girlfriend?
club?
How do you handle?
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be a happy time, and it's like the closing of a book, which is, it doesn't sound like it's ecstatic, but doesn't sound like it's, miserable at the same time. Like, what's going through your head during this vacation, and why is it so impactful?
Yeah, I think, just, it's like, what do I do now is a big thing of it too, because because a lot of my successes and stuff was due to having a foot in the door in this place, and then also like having the support of her, I feel like was really helpful. And then all that's kind of like going away at the same time. And how do I drive anywhere? And so I'm just kind of thinking like, do I want to do this? Is this something I'm going to do? Can I even do it without that like crutch of the foot in the door, so to speak? And I pretty much was like, oh, hell yeah, I can. And so this is 2019. And so in order to get a job, I reached out to Chocolate Drop, who ran this dispensary that all these DJs worked at. All it was literally just like maybe 15 employees and 10 were all like artists, DJs. So we're like blasting dubstep, selling weed, blah, blah, blah. It was a good money. And that was another example of like where you work is so fun. A dispensary is not the worst place to work, but if you're with a bunch of DJs and you can take off time for gigs or whatever you need, like everyone's understanding. Awesome. I worked there for like 4 years, and that was a whole arc of like going from family to corporate bullshit over a period of time too.
Yeah. But, well, hold on. Before we jump to that,
yeah,
because I think there's something key in here, like the loss of this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like this person was like really impactful.
Totally. Yeah. It was like a 3-year relationship, I think, in the total of it all.
Yeah. So when that ended, what part of you was like most lost or sad?
I don't know. So it's so long ago now, but I think it was just like I don't know, because I never really thought of like, I'm going to marry this girl and go for it. I don't think I ever had those thoughts either as much, but because I had deep down, because she was a little younger than me. She's like 3 years younger than me, and she had her own like artistic dreams of like doing things and moving away and like, all this stuff. So I feel like at the end of the day, I was like, I think we're going to go our separate ways, but it actually happened. There was some like drama going on with like cheating and stuff too. I feel like that happened maybe. Never confirmed or anything, but I think it maybe reveals itself later. I don't know if I can talk about that stuff, but it was just like I was like, oh, I probably was cheated on or type thing. Like later on realized, and, or maybe not, but I don't know. But, I just feel like it was just, hurtfulness of just like betrayal. It was very quick too, or no, it wasn't quick. It was gradual. And then I thought it was going to be okay in that trip. And then it was just like, very obviously not afterwards. So I think the impact it had on me was just like, now what? And so I'm since this is gone, I'm just going to fully dive into the music.
Okay.
And I still have
that
this
was
job
like almost
to support.
The coping mechanism.
Yeah, 100%.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Because I'm like, maybe a little bit of like, I'll show you, too, of like, she did like some things like comparing my music to other people. And at the time she was probably right, but it was just still like hurtful to hear, at some points. But nothing was like ill-intended or anything. Just honest, probably.
Yeah.
And so, I want to dive into music more. And that's like 2019. So I'm working at the dispensary. It's fun. then like the next year, I think I'm playing shows still here and there, opening like, a bass ops was a big thing. Shout out Dom, played some of those. Did like some theater stuff, like Ogden opening up for Slushy. I got booked for that like 2 hours before the set. That was crazy. It's one of those just like, yes, I'll do it. And I'll make a new set and I'll cater it to be maybe more Slushy-esque than I normally do.
Yeah.
I think 2% was in that crowd. I talked to him before about that.
No way.
He was like he's like, you're one of the first DJs I've ever seen.
No
way. I was the first at the door.
Shout out.
So shout out him. I got to have him on my show later on. So it was a crazy I love those full circle moments too.
Yeah.
But I love that show. And I just was like the first act. I learned a lot of like, oh, maybe I don't need to like warm up this room like a club. These kids are ready to go. I don't need to start with a house song and kind of warm my way up. I can just bang it out. And in that situation, 100%. I learned very quickly, like clubs, venues, bit different.
Yep.
As then 2020 hit, I was considered an essential worker. So that's good. I got to keep my job. But my rent was still pretty cheap from where I was living before. So I just like worked at the dispensary, saved a bunch of money, and really worked on music. Like every day I would just work on music. I was watching a bunch of Kenny Beats on YouTube. It was very inspiring on Twitch. Subtronics was on Twitch. And I feel like I decided in that moment, especially with the breakup, this is maybe like a year past that. I had the second rendition of a logo, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get like a real logo from a designer. And I'm going to like figure out what I'm going to do. Because at this point I've been posting cool visuals because that's what I did. I did visuals. I like post live. No one knows they're done live, but I recorded them live, which took a lot of time. But like social media was changing. TikTok, fell in love with TikTok so much because it was so good. Back 2020 TikTok, 2019 TikTok is peak. Ever since then it's been just like sponsored ads. But I was just like, I love this. I think I can do something funny on this. I remember I did like some stupid thing where I like poured chocolate or strawberry milk in Frosted Flakes and had a filter on, like, because my Snapchat was always funny filter characters.
Yeah.
And then I did that. I put it on TikTok, got like 300,000 views. I was like, what? You could just reach this many people by being yourself? That's cool.
Well, hold on, because I appreciate that we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
But like something you said interesting is now coming up about your girlfriend who started comparing you to other artists, and maybe making you feel like, oh, maybe this isn't, like, throwing some shade at you, and maybe this is making you feel like maybe I don't have what it takes. But at the same time, you still feel very convicted, and you are pursuing this full time.
Mm-hmm.
But was there a part of you or during that like journey, 2020, 2021, where you're like, fuck, maybe she's right. Like maybe I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, did you ever doubt yourself?
I don't think that, no. I don't think I ever had like too much of a meaningful, like, maybe I shouldn't do this type feeling ever in that coming up era. I think that came on later. If I would ever have those feelings, it'd be like once they already seen kind of what it is. If that makes sense. But that's jumping ahead. But I feel like back then I literally was just like very confident in like that I was doing on this right path, especially after the whole club experience and stuff.
Yeah.
And that club was like, try to come back, and I helped rebuild it as 2.0. And it was like this big failure, seeing it go from local to corporate bullshit type thing again. But that was like a whole arc. That thing kind of happened between like 20 and 21 of just like, this club might come back. It's like your ex being like, maybe we should try it. But it's like, it's not going to work. Kind of the same thing with that club. And I was like, this is not going to work. But played a couple shows there. It was sick. And eventually ended, and I just stuck to the dispo job. But I think during that whole time, I never was like, I'm going to stop doing music. Okay. I feel like that was always like the backbone of decisions and just what I was doing.
Well, it makes sense.
Maybe
right?
sunken time fallacy too as well.
No, but you had like a lot of support around you, right? Like when you were in the environment, you saw what it took, and you were in surrounding yourself with people that are in the industry, and then you go all in, but you're working at the dispo and you're surrounded by more DJs.
Yeah, more
so
DJs.
It's like
I'm like testing whips.
You're in an echo chamber. Like you
That's
never
a very good way to
left
put it.
an
Yeah.
echo chamber, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't conscious at the time, but it makes sense that you didn't feel the doubt, because where are you going to hear the doubt from? 10 of your coworkers are doing the exact same thing. It's just like, that's a way of life.
Yeah, and we're all just like smoking weed and making music and selling weed and hanging out, and like, I don't know, the echo chamber's a really good way to put it, which can be negative or positive, but I feel like in that was like pretty positive as far as like motivation goes and stuff.
Yeah, well, it goes back to your theme, which is like surrounding yourself with friends. Like maybe these weren't best friends, but these were people in the industry that are doing the same things as you. It's like that's a friendship to some degree.
Yeah,
I mean, give you that encouragement.
The boss I had was like one of the first people who booked me. Like it was like pretty tight knit, and it was very lax and very fun. And it was mainly because the people you're like, selling weed to are pretty fun in general too.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. I really got good at like socializing. I was really hermited before, like you were saying, and very like shy. And that job, when maybe you're in a little bit of a position of like, I'm here to help you, like buy your weed or whatever, you're way more, at least I am, outgoing and just being like confident in what you're doing. Cause you're like, I know what you want, or I know what you got, or I can help you. So and then I started like really leaning into that, and like I would get stickers made and put my Instagram on the back of them and like give them to everyone. And people still reach out to this day. Like, I found you at the dispensary with your sticker, and I still have your sticker.
That's wild.
So the physical, like, I'm helping all these people, and people who indulge in marijuana might love electronic music, but if it's obvious or not, sometimes they come in with like dripped out and like Zed's Dead stuff, and I'll just be like, you like that? You should check out this music. And like the confidence was just like beaming eventually. And that's when like the same time I started putting more stuff on social media, just being silly. I got the management. So I guess the big first thing, if I can do it, was maybe like the little social media pop, as like silly as it can
strawberry
sound.
milk.
Yeah, strawberry milk.
I almost bought you some strawberry milk, but I'm like, I have the baby picture. Like, I don't know if I want to hit him with that too.
Strawberry milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also love watching like Dylan Francis on his Snapchat, and I really took a lot of inspiration from that, and just being funny online and being characters, and comedy is like so rooted. I love comedy so much. So I think it was all coming together in a fact of like, I'm going to be myself online. I'm going to promote my music unseriously. A little bit. There's like hints of it. I think it doesn't really come to fruition until like 2022. But yeah, 2021, I'm making more, maybe also more defined music, as far as like, it's kind of getting my niche, or like my sound more so. It was still all over the place. It still is, but it was more just like, okay, cool, wubby, fun music. And then the manager reached out, which was another big moment, which I'll never forget, of his name's Ha, and he managed my friend Tom Brondo, and he also is like he was like the reason behind Millennium, which is like so big deal, especially when I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen my friend, he's helped my friend go from like a local to like a national act as Brondo and rebranding. He's helped Millennium, he's helped Decadon, all these people and friends. And I was like, he reached out to me just saying, all he said was, do you have management, or is so-and-so managing you? And I was like at 3 a.m. one night, and I was just like in my bed, like I couldn't sleep. My heart was racing, and I started writing down on my notes, like what Mport is, what it means to me, and all this stuff.
Whoa.
And I was, cause if I'm going to have a meeting with this guy, like I got to explain what it is, or at least what I think it is. And so I set it up for coffee, and we talked. And
wait, hold on. Let's go back. You just said it's 3 a.m. Your heart was racing. You couldn't sleep. That sounds crazy. Like, you just check your phone, you see a DM from this guy. Like, take us there.
Yeah, it just was like a dry. I've met him before through the club. He like Global would book some stuff at the club and stuff, and but I never knew him. He's kind of like a intimidating person, to be honest, if you don't know him. And I just got that, like, yeah, I'm not managed by him. I was like, I'm not managed by him. Let's have a meeting going. It's like, it's like, your music's really good. Would love to talk more. It's pretty much that. Very cut and dry, honestly, as he is. But I was just started writing down like import yourself into this world. It's like the cybernetic meets nature. It was like this whole like vision brand thing I was kind of thinking at the time, and I still like to incorporate here and there, but it was like pretty much like cyber reality meets nature. It was cool. Import yourself into the experience, into the sound, which I still love a lot. I think that kind of morphed into me being a personality versus like a visual brand.
Sure.
But I definitely like some of the art you'll see is like, it still has that like cybernetic, like kind of like Decadence kind of took that. And I love what they did with it. Digital City and like cybernetic shit. I love that stuff so much. But I don't think it was like authentic enough to be like, I'm only going to stick to this thing and do that. Cause like the easiest path was just like being myself.
Sure.
Which for some, that's the hardest path. So like creating a world might be the easiest or best path for them. So I was kind of in the middle of that. So I was like, I'm just going to go the other way, be funnier.
So when you get coffee and ultimately it goes favorably.
Yeah.
And you've seen, how you've seen what Global Dance has done with just in general with Millennium, but also with your friend Rondo. Shout out. You must be freaking out. Like this is like
I'm like, oh, I gotta like, I don't know what's going through my head. But the meeting didn't result in like, I'm gonna manage you. It's like, It was more like, you have good music. But I think at the time he's just like, figure out it's like, what is Mport? And I still don't have an answer, maybe to this day, but I guess Mport is me now at this point. But back then, especially, I was just like, I don't know. It's just like a cool word, and I'm trying to like define it and kind of force it, when in reality it was like kind of something hard to force. But he was like, we'll be in touch. And we're kind of in touch here and there. I'll send him playlists of music here and there, and he'll like it or not like it or whatever. And then we meet up again, I think maybe a year later, and have more music to play. And I think we met in 2020, probably, end of that. And it's kind of all blurs together. But at some point, maybe our third meeting or so, he's like, listen, I'm gonna help you out here. And we'll throw you on some lineups for Global, see what you can do or whatever with that, and go from there. And it was just, there's nothing ever signed. I don't think to this day there's anything signed. It's just like, and maybe there is now with like a percentage thing, but at first it was like no money, nothing, because they're obviously not making much money.
Sure.
They want like 15% of $150, like. So that relationship kind of grew and grew, and then not the first, but like an awesome opportunity was like opening the church, for some shows. I did a Subtronics opening for that. And then it was like Ember Shores with Millennium, getting like to be put on that. It was like one of the coolest. I was like, oh my God, it's like I feel so blessed to be able to like go on this. And that is because of that, and got pushed in front of a lot more people and all that kind of stuff. So that was a big moment. And I definitely felt like just, I got to like really grind now. And like, I had the new logo. I had this like manager interested in me, but I was still just like, yeah, it's going to keep focusing on making good music and social media when I can. I'm trying to think of what I was posting in like 2021. I think it was just still like song promo. I like the song Anyway. I loved a lot. I think it was like a beating heart was like the visual. So that's what I uploaded and stuff. And then 2022, I found the slug eye filter. And that was a big moment of just going through TikTok and being like, someone was doing it to Celine Dion or something. And I was like, that'd be really funny to like fast paced music, like my music. Oh, I just had this Laser Beam remix I did thing. And I did it. And it definitely popped off online. And I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. It's me. It's my song, my remix. And it's like super easy to do. It's super fun. And that's when I kind of cemented in the fact of like just doing silly videos and visuals should be the main thing I can do for now to promote myself.
Well, because you had always been like into comedy, but you had never like fully expressed that silliness, right?
Not, I think, other than like Snapchat stories, which like like 50 people of my friends might see or something. And it was just like putting it in the universe. But like, yeah, this is the first time I was maybe leaning into it more.
Yeah, but you were getting immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Like, the Strawberry Milk thing went super viral. Like the slug face thing, like really getting a lot of traction.
And the whole another big thing was the Deepa tag I used was in a song. This is actually a great moment you'll love. Is that song. I was like, I need a switch. I hate when songs go like switch or something because it's overdone. So I was like, ooh, it kind of goes deeper. What if I just record myself being like Deepa? And that's what it was. And I pitched it down, and I was like, that's a cool like switch. And then my friend Shank Aaron was friends with Dirt Monkey, and he sent him that song. It's called Proximity, and he just immediately was like, I want this on my label. He just started a new label called 19K, and so that was some awesome. I love Dirt Monkey so much. I've talked to him here and there, but he just like loved it, and he like gave me some inspiration to keep going. He's one of the first people to like play my music out that I looked up to. So he's like, I want to sign this record. I guess before that I did submit it to a Subtronics stream, and he like loved it on the stream, which is like, I was like, oh my God, which happened again recently, which is crazy. But that first time I was just like, no way. He's like calling me FIZO or something, which is like the craziest compliment. And so I was like very validated. I remember going on a mushroom trip with a friend in the mountains, and I was really excited to listen to that song Proximity because I just sent it to Dirt Monkey. My phone died, and he went on to his own little exploration. This is my old roommate, by the way, too, from college, random roommate. And I go off into the forest, and I just start like singing it into my own head. And I like the whole song, bah, 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 and I just start crying because I was like, no way. Like Dirt Monkey, this guy I've looked up to for like 5 years now, like likes and is releasing my music that I love so much. And I just started like, it was like full of like gratitude and love. And I was like, oh, and just from singing it, not even hearing the song, I was just like, oh, it was a mess, but it was so good.
Wow.
That was a good moment. I remember feeling like, okay, you don't suck, or like or you are good enough, or like all this stuff,
Super transformational experience, it sounds like, in the forest or on this hike. You start bawling, maybe not bawling, but crying, because I think it's maybe just a moment of reflection, like, holy shit, I did this.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. Like I did this. It's like it's not just, it's beyond me. Like I made this thing and it's like going into the world under like, I think it was coming out like in 2 days or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's actually happening.
Yeah. Why do you think it was such an impactful experience? Like, why was it met with such an emotional release?
I think it's one because Dirt Monkey was like a huge inspiration for me as far as all that goes. I've met him before and all that. I remember the first time meeting him, I was like, oh my God. And you try not to like maybe like idolize people you meet or like friends of them, and then you like realize maybe in that moment too, I'm like, oh, but this motherfucker's Dirt Monkey. Like this guy like got me into this, you know. And one of the guys who like formed I used to be like, I'm Peekaboo meets Dirt Monkey back in the day when I was really influenced by him. So, and now I've gotten support from both of them, which is like insane. But it's kind of like law of attraction thing probably. But I was just like, I did it. I got like, it's his stamp of approval. It's coming out, and I don't know. I just did it. It's like the first time that's happened, I guess, too. The first are always the biggest, and then those moments too. So I was just really proud of the song. Like it was just, I got to like, especially in that mindset, I got to like take a step back and listen to it as if it wasn't my song, and I wasn't even listening to it. I was like singing it in my head.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that song is definitely one of the first things. I think Rusko reacted to it on like a Dirt Monkey set. It was just one of those things that was like generally overall it was like liked by most people, and I could see that from playing it or from just sharing it online or just whatever. Like I got the Subtronics stamp, his stamp, and whoever I showed it to stamp of approval, and I was just like, and it was like a record. I got a song signed to a record.
That was your first time.
I was second. The first one was like this thing called Artists Intelligence Agency or something. So it was like a SoundCloud label, and they put it everywhere. I actually don't know if it's on Spotify anymore, but it was like, yeah, my first record deal that I cared about or getting a record signed. So that was just a really cool moment of, like you said, I did it.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, why do you think you were successful up until that point? And I also would love for you to touch on your strategy, which I think people might find resonant or interesting, of paying Dirt Monkey $40
Oh yeah, I told you about that.
to mix, or to master rather, a track. So like, first question, well, the overarching question is, why do you think you were successful? But then also, can you detail like a very interesting, what's the word I'm looking for? Like crafty way to get a bigger artist's attention.
Yeah. That part was just, that had the Inducive thing, the other project, and I knew Dirt Monkey mastered stuff. And so I was like, what if he mastered this song, and one, it's going to sound better, and two, he'll listen to it, which is cool. So that was like not like the Mport thing. And then I think I got his attention by the song Belly Dancer. It's like a song I sing on, and that might have been actually the first song he ever recognized from me, and as it played out and stuff. It was like 2017. First song I sang on publicly. But he like offered, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the timeline, because he mastered that song because he liked it so much. They just wanted it to sound better. Like, he's like, just give me everything bass and everything but bass, and I'll mix it better. I was like, okay. But I think before that, I was just sending him, I think I sent him a song called Swingin' It, which is another song I rapped on, actually. I haven't done that since, but I rapped on a song. And that one, and then an Inducive song, and then maybe one more. But my whole goal was just like, well, I want it to sound better. He knows what he's doing. I can give him however much he was charging, whatever. And then third, he'll get his ears on it, you know? And so I think it's a smart way of doing it, whether it's like you want to get lessons from someone, it's like use their services, and then you can not only learn and stuff, but like you're kind of getting your name in their ears.
Oh, for sure.
So that was kind of like strategy. It was definitely both. Like I did want the work he had to offer, and I did want him to
That's
get
really
ears on me.
crafty.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not suggesting that people go out and just, spend money to.
I also had a lot of faith in the songs. It wasn't like I was like giving him not good things to work on. I was like, I think he could elevate this good, and he would like it.
Yeah.
And from our conversations, he liked the songs for sure. But the Belly Dancer one was the one that, like, I think it got played out at Lost Lands, and then he played it, and then people started like remixing it. And so I was like, okay, that was one of the first, like, I can make music that's genuinely liked. That was like 2017, I think, or 2018.
Okay.
So it was pretty quickly into the Mport part of it all too, which was nice.
Yeah. So then I guess all the way up to, Dirt Monkey signing this song. Why do you think you were achieving success? Why do you think your career was gradually growing in the right direction?
I think it was because of preparedness meets opportunity, or opportunity meets preparedness. Because like it is, like he was a friend of a friend who got sent my music, but if my music wasn't to that point yet, maybe it doesn't matter. And he maybe wouldn't have even sent it in the first place. And so I was prepared for that moment of like a bigger artist hearing my music. I feel like at that point I'd worked hard enough before and got good enough to kind of get something that's when shown to someone, it's good. Like it would suck to be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you
Sense.
finally got to listen to it, and it's just like not the best, reaction, or that's his first impression of like, oh, this guy makes this music, and I'll check back later or something. So that's another reason maybe not to send your music to someone, your first song, or whatever, just because you want that first impression to be sick and like remember in their head. So I think I was just to the point of confidence. I was confident enough to do that, and yeah, the song itself, which is funny, came from the anxiety of working in the dispensary during COVID. It was insane. Like we were still open, full mask, full gloves, like going out. Our entire wall was covered in receipts for like to-go orders of weed because they thought is all going to shut down because of COVID. So those couple moments, and then continuing to be open during it, and being like no one knew what was going on, but I was still at work, full mask, gloves, and then. So it's called proximity, like you're too close to me. So I found the vocal and like a little synth that has like vocals in it, or a sampler. It's like too close to me is like the lyric of it. And I was like, yeah. So I wrote that song once inspired by the vocal to like be like this, I don't know, it was very inspired by motion. And maybe that's why I was like very happy it connected too as well. Even you don't listen to that song and be like, that song's about COVID and social distancing, but it's about like the stress. That's how I felt of working in that environment, which is nothing compared to like the actual health workers and stuff, but it was my experience of that. So that's kind of where that song came from.
Yeah.
And so it had more meaning than just like, ooh, wubs and dubs and it sounds good, right? It was more than it just sounds good, because it did sound good, but it was like, why did I like this so much? Because it reflected a feeling I had, and that's what music is. And I feel like that was maybe a turning point of maybe I'm not just making stuff to sound good or to be like someone else, or to like, I did like a metal song before, like kind of like a Sullivan King type song. So I was like, I want to learn, I could do that too. Versus that doing like a song that I just liked that made me feel how I was feeling. And that was maybe one of the first ones that I really did that with. And that whole era of music that I was doing then was all very emotion driven. And all those songs in the era have like got me where I am today. I still attribute a lot of my success to that era. It's like Jiggler, Proximity, Anyway, Here We Go Again. I made SOS back then, which I just put out this year, but I made it in that era. It was like very emotional fueled music. And I think that's why when I made the switch from like backing off the technical stuff, because I could do that. I could make a song, I could make it sound good enough. But like what's behind the song? What's like...
Yeah, it sounds more authentic. Like
way more
creating stuff
authentic
for you.
Yep.
An accurate representation of how you're feeling in the moment.
First, like a challenge, right? Like I had this song Fearless, which it's cool and out, but it's like I love metal and I love all that stuff. So my challenge was like, I want to make a metal step song. And I did it. I screamed on it and it sounds good enough and all that stuff. But I was like, cool, what's next? What's the next challenge?
Sure.
Versus like making a song and be like, God, I fucking love this song. It reminds me of this when I did that. I just remember when I think of Fearless, I just think of me trying to do something that was hard.
Yeah.
Versus I think of Proximity, I think of like overcoming hardship and also that whole getting signed and stuff too. But
so what would you say to someone if they're thinking about, producing something that maybe they don't feel 100% about? Maybe they're doing it more for a challenge or more because they think they need to do it, as opposed to that's actually something they want to do because it makes them feel good.
Yeah, I'd always trust your gut more than anything, and like your feeling, because that's what like we were talking about earlier when I learned about how a bad mixed good song is better than a bad song mixed well, is because the song is good, it has a feeling, and like it could probably be portrayed across like a poor technical part. So if someone's like, I don't like what I'm doing it for a challenge, like do the challenge or like learn from it, but like I don't know, if it doesn't resonate with you, like don't get too hard on yourself.
Sure.
You can always open it up later and do something else with it. But
what about like when like your gut is being influenced by external things? Like sometimes it might be hard for someone to discern like what their gut is telling them versus like what they think they should do.
Like it influences like outside
opinions so
and stuff.
even more simply asked, like what if someone doesn't know what is their intuition versus external?
And like in a world of creation, I think that comes down to like, if you don't know, then like literally throw paint at the wall and like see what you see. Like be more reactive than proactive, I guess, or creative or react. I don't know what the word is, but like what I do all the time if I'm feeling stuck or try or tell people to do is create randomness, create chaos, create like sonically, whatever it is, create something you by accident, and then you like reflect on it and then react to it. Where you're like, I just made an hour of crazy random sounds out of this synth, but like this one little part that goes like, dick, 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 dick. If I just repeated that, that'd be something cool. But I never would have thought of that little line. It's just kind of more reactive than like, yeah. So I think in that moment of uncertainty, just like experiment is like the probably simplest way to answer that and really see what you react to.
I like that. I've never heard kind of that example.
Yeah. If you don't know what to paint in front of you, you just start doing lines, right? And just like, okay, oh, now I see like a mountain. Okay, go into that. But before you're like, I don't know, it's blank. So, but why do you see a mountain? Maybe because you got broken up with on a mountain when you were 10. I don't know, when you were 10 years ago. So I don't know, I think everything will kind of connect back to what you were, react to.
Sure. Oh, I love that. Okay. So taking us back to you getting very emotional, without your friend on this hike.
Yeah.
Major turning point. Emotional release.
Mm-hmm.
How does that propel you further into your career?
I think learning that my instincts are right, or like the emotion is the right way to go. Because like if that's like the outcome of that, it was like, oh, I got validated. It's like true, honest art and reflection and all that. Then moving forward, I should try and like really do that. And I think I tried to recreate that style of song several times, but then again, that's me doing like challenging. What's a challenge? Recreate the song that did well. Never works. And so doing other things. I think another song around then was like bass so loud it's quiet is another one where it's like, what's the feeling when you're at a show and like the sub is so loud but you can still hear the person next to you? What's a song that feels like that? Feel like maybe it's not as emotional, but it is like experiential. So having themes, I really learned that I love having themes in my music that like relate to an emotion or an experience, and a lot of it is like humor.
Sure.
It is a good, very, very good emotion
Sure.
to play on. So I feel like that's kind of what I learned from that is just like trust yourself more and your artistic ear and all that.
Yeah. Well, as you're coming up, I imagine there were times where you felt tempted to deviate from your intuition.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Can you like elaborate on that and how you stayed true? Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you deviated and something happened.
Yeah, I feel like deviating can be definitely a result of comparison very easily, because you see something blow up, you see like a certain sound used, you want to do that, you want to hop on that trend because it might work, but then at the end of the day it might not just be like as fulfilling as you want, so because you did the challenge. You challenge yourself to sound like this person, or you're like maybe you're remixing songs that you don't really like just because it's gonna be good, like like putting Amelie over a beat when it's like, do you really love and resonate with Amelie, or you just know it's going to go off because it will. It's a sick song. So I think when I always try to like tell myself when I do a remix or something that I really do love like the song I'm doing. And when it comes to like comparing and stuff, it's always like, what's the quote? I have it written down on my studio whiteboard. It's admire, don't compare. So if you see something that's like really cool, you're just like, try not to be like, but I'm doing this or like, but just be like, that's amazing. That's so cool that they can do that. And like, now I'm going to like admire that and like be inspired rather than like be like, well, I must suck or something else. So that's kind of like what that brings me thought wise.
Yeah, totally. Was there a time that you deviated from that, but there were consequences? And like forced you to learn a lesson, like learn this admire, not compare lesson.
Admire. Oh, I think I'm still learning that to this day. I think it gets harder as you were trying to grow and like the more business part of it, or like the more professional part of it, when you're seeing so many things online and like a show clip looks so cool, but in reality it's just them playing on that stage. But the way it's portrayed and stuff can really make you get in your head about like how cool that show was or how cool that song is or all that stuff, and really start to like get in your own head about, man, what am I doing wrong? Or I could do that, right? I could do that kind of sound so easily. Why don't I make songs like that all the time? Because I could, from a technical standpoint. But like if I go start to do that, I really like try and stop myself and be like, okay, I don't need to make this like like sound. I don't know. I get specific with it, but it's just like the yoy thing I think got in a lot of people's head, like, oh, I got to do like this yoy and like this saw bass under a rap song and like it's going to go off. And it's like, maybe if you really love the original song and do a cool take on it, but like just doing it for like, oh, this is what's popular, it won't work as well. Cause I've tried that before and I've done it and it's like cool, but it isn't fulfilling. And whenever I do those sounds or do that direction, I really try to make it my own and interesting to me. And impressing yourself over others.
It's interesting. It sounds like there's a part of you that comes through where it's like, oh, maybe I should deviate. But then there's another part of you that comes through that's like, actually, no, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I'm like so curious where that part comes from. Where do you have that, strong sense of authenticity? Because I imagine it's hard. It's really easy to scroll on social media. Whoa. Really easy to scroll on social media and see all the things that people are doing and they're popping off because XYZ, as you're talking about, follow that trend. And a lot of people probably feel tempted to do it, and they do it because they're just following the trend.
Yeah, I feel like I've done it's hindered me the opposite way where I don't do authentic things, and maybe still does to this day, where I have so many things on my computer, songs, ideas, whatever it is, that are so maybe me and so quirky and weird, good or not. I love them. But like it's scary to put those out. Like I waited SOS, that song where I sing pop punk, for like 4 years to put it out because it is so me. I gotta, just like that. I think that I would rather sometimes more comfortable just do what's popular, even though it's not fulfilling. But you're just like, I know this will work, whatever. But that's, I guess what I thought of was the song More Wonkier. The beat of it was made years ago, and it was so weird, like the original thing, and I was like, I don't know, it's so weird, like who's gonna like this or whatever. Then one night after like a show, I think it was actually after Easy Baked somewhere, Mishawaka, I listened to it on my like iPhone speaker. I found like an old thing, it's called Corn Kid or something. It's on my Mport exports actually, and I was listening to it and I was like, this is so cool. It's like I've never heard anything like this in my life, yet I made it like years ago.
Yeah.
And then things lead to another, and I found a way to use that project and beef it up and modernize it to whatever I wanted now. But I was just like, those moments of like, man, this is cool. It's like listening to an old thing or just like something that is very your own. And I've learned more and more and more. That's what I need to put out. Even at my shows and my sets, I'm like, do people vibe harder to when I play my music versus like a tape B song that I know is going to work? But like the vibe from the whole room, it happened at my last show, literally last week. I kind of waited to the end to play like this little anthology of like Mport bangers, and I was like, I should have done that at the beginning. Like, and that's an opener in me too, is like always leaving the best for last. The most people will be there, but it's kind of the opposite with headlining. You like start with your best maybe. But something I've been like trying to work on too. Yeah, for sure.
So it sounds like you have a lot like, in the repertoire that hasn't fully made it because you're still learning this lesson of choosing the thing that's most authentic.
Yeah, the fan, like people who like your music or like you will like it, even if it's so avant-garde. I mean, sometimes though, I don't know. I just made like a pop punk song about my family moving out of their family home. It's all, there's no drop in it. It's nothing. It's just me singing over like a production I made that's like pop punk-esque. I've done thing that's like Frank Zappa meets drum and bass jazz. Like it's so weird. And the lyrics are about like a cross-eyed dog. Like it's just silly, like Ween, if you know that band. But I don't know. Those things are like close to me, and I listen to them all the time just for myself. So eventually, hopefully putting them out in like an album or something. I don't even know, but I have so many, like hundreds of things I could, and side projects and things, but I don't know. It's in time, or one day, just a lot of the releases I do, I just wake up and I'm just like, I'm gonna put this out today. I'm very spontaneous with like, I have a whole extra SoundCloud called Mport's Exports, where I just wake up one day, I'm like, that deserves the light of day. Even if I hated it last year.
That's so interesting.
One of the beats is called, it's a sick song, but the vocal was like overused. It was like busting from the underground or something. It was used a million times as sample pack. And I literally named it on SoundCloud. We don't need another, it's from the underground dubstep song. And like, I don't know, just like, that's okay, that lives today. Like it's on it lives somewhere. I like it having to live somewhere that people can find it. I do love that lore. I'd say that's like the Mport lore, is where's his old projects and where's like these random songs he's gonna put out. Because I feel like that's my like, I don't know, ADD or whatever it is. But I'm like, today this remix should come alive. I did that for my Hole and Subtronics remix, Mind Pluck. I was in an airport on a 12-hour layover, and I was just like, what if I could make the art for that? I'll just put it up. Never promoted it or anything, and then kind of did its thing on SoundCloud because it was, I don't know, good at the time. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but a lot of random just decisions on like, or like videos. I'm just going to do this video today. And like, those are the ones that sometimes pop off because it's just you talking authentically or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're just more trusting your intuition. More of the same.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to create stuff. It doesn't feel right for me to release right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then one random morning, you're like, you know what? It's time.
Yep. 100%. That's why I love SoundCloud too in general, because you have that control. If you want to put it on Spotify, you have to wait a while and it's a whole thing. And it has to be like, you can't do any remixes or fun samples. So
yeah.
That's why I love that platform. But yeah, I love being spontaneous. Yeah.
Spontaneous.
Yeah. I love being spontaneous.
Okay. So we're still, well, I don't know. Are we at current day? Like, you tell me, like, there's obviously more come up on your trajectory, like playing bigger shows, headlining, playing festivals. Like, what, when you think back, 2022, 2023 to like now, is there like one memory that you have? It's like, wow, this was super defining.
It was definitely level 9. Like,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that was a big lesson in treating instincts and whatever. I don't even know.
Oh, perfect segue.
But yeah, that song is crazy, dude. That song was an intro. I was playing a show with my friends Carol Expanko and Mersive in the mountains, and I was like, I need an intro. I love making intros. I love giving that experience of something specific to the show or the city or whatever it is. So I did this thing, and the whole lyric was like, it's like a girl, and she's like, I'm gonna go deep, 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 deeper, and that's like the drop of what it is now. And it like, I was the first of the night, so it was like the first song of the whole night, and like it got like a big roar, like a big crowd pop, and I was like, whoa, that song's pretty cool, and never thought anything of it. I played it like in my Larimer Lounge headline set a couple months later, and it's just like a middle part. There's no level 9 part or anything, and it was fine. It was cool. And then I found that that video, dude. And I just remember just watching it. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating, just like crying, laughing, watching it over and over again. Like, it's so funny. And so then I was like, how can I put this in a song? I need to like put this in a song. That's hilarious. And then I found in that little whip folder intro, I was like, oh, that song, instead of the lyrics, I can do this sample. So the song was kind of made first. And so then I was doing like funny videos too about it. So long story short, I really didn't think anything much of it. That's like a whole thing. I was just like, oh, I got the song. It's like a deep wubby song. I love the sample. It's hilarious. I made this video with a bunch of like turtles, GIFs. It's before AI too. So it's just like my version of AI. I was just going on like Giphy and just finding a bunch of GIFs and putting it all together. Yeah. And making something funny and or cool. And I put that out on the 9th of December, which is crazy, of 2022, the day after or of the Electric Forest tickets went on sale, which is unbeknownst to me. But that video is from Electric Forest, so like tagged Electric Forest, like hashtag whatever, and I feel like it was a topic. Anyway, the thing that like blew the fuck up. Like, I never had a video blow up before in that regard, and my phone was having issues. It wouldn't charge, wouldn't do anything, so I was like, I couldn't even watch it happen, which would have been good. I was traveling, my phone was dying, and I was like, I think this video is like popping off. I don't even know what to do. It goes on to get like, I don't know, like 5 million views. And then like Tommy Lee uploads it onto his profile. Like, this just goes viral everywhere, partly because the original video is so good. And I'm utilizing that, I'm kind of leaning on that. And, but like the video edit's good. And the song's already out. Like, I waited till it was out to post it. That's like I like to do. And so it just got I got like 30,000 followers in a week or something.
Wow.
But like, to the detriment of it, I'm like, am I just being followed for this meme video? Or like, is the song cool? And the song was getting played too, but not nearly as much as the video. That's how it goes. But I was getting recognition from people who did like wubby dubstep. So it was really cool and gratifying to go viral for like that big a time for like something that was all original in a sense. Sure, I sampled the video, but like it was like an original song that is put together, original video, put it out. It wasn't like me just being like farting on someone's face as a prank. And then I'm like, oh crap, I'm viral for that now,
Yeah.
Because that's always a fear too. And in a sense, it got me a lot of followers that maybe weren't into what I was doing in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I've posted it over the years again and again, and it always kind of is like a fun, I could use some more followers, but I don't know if they're real like fans of it. So I try not to, but I did trial reels with it last year and it blew up harder than the first time, which is crazy. But I love that song. It definitely told me that like, just do you 100%. Cause it wasn't even my favorite song when I put it up. I was just like a cool song I liked.
Yeah.
And sonically, it's not the best either. It goes against what I was going for, right? Because there's 2 masters for that song. There's the master that's out, and then there's the one that was like, I want to make it sound clean and good, a little bit better, and it does. And then I listened to it in like my car or something, and I was like, it doesn't have like the energy or the grit
Let's
And
get
so
a
I went,
VIP.
I have like 4 VIPs of that. I have a level 10 and 11, and then VIPs of those. But yeah, the actual master is like a utility plus like just turning it up a lot. It's not really a master, but it sounds good. But there was a whole arc with that thing because the guy who is in the video is Blake Weber, of course, who I kind of got to know a little bit. But then the interviewee was named Travis, and he unfortunately passed away. So I kind of like stopped feeling it was cool to like promote that and like do the VIPs, and I do it for shows and stuff. But I just was like, I talked to him online. I sent him like merch. I was about to bring him up on stage when I played near him so he could do it live. He got to see Ellis Dream play it with the visual, so he got to see himself.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that it was like hit pretty hard. I was like, damn, because I don't really know the cause fully, but I might have been due to self-harm, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really talked about it, I guess, but it was not fun to be like, oh, this one thing that's brought me like, success or admiration or whatever is like, that person is no longer around. And I don't think it's because of that or anything, but he was, it just sucks.
Yeah, I can see how there's like a fear of being exploitive. What's the word?
Yeah, I never wanted to be like, I wanted to make, imagine making a bunch of more merch or something and making money off it. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't even want to put out like the VIPs and stuff. And now I can, and I was talking about like reaching out and being like, anything it makes, maybe I can donate to the family and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I was just like, I don't know. I don't think it's not that monetarily successful to put out a song on Spotify at this level. So I don't know. I just felt uncomfortable doing that. So I kind of stopped the whole level 9 thing. But what stuck, which is crazy and you can't decide it, was the turtle. Like I've like tried to embrace like that turtle brand, and I feel like that is me in a nutshell, and it's something you can't force. I'm like a shy guy. I have what's it called? Kyphosis, which makes you have like an arched back a little bit, like a turtle. I'm shy. You have to come out of your shell. That was like the whole theme of my last Denver show. Was like I had this whole thing of like mockumentary is I'm a turtle coming out of my shell. And someone told me that as a fan once. He said like a bubble out of it was very similar, but I felt very awesome because he said your music made me come out of my bubble. And I was like, oh my God, that's very like, it resonates so hard because that's like the whole thing. I never asked for or like made it up. It was just kind of given to me by that video and the internet and me leaning into it and really thinking about it. Like, damn, I am like a slow turtle on this slow like trajectory that's constantly being consistent. But yeah, that song is just kind of defined Mport as maybe like a turtle guy or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of nuggets in there, man.
Yeah. So it was very crazy time.
A lot of nuggets, but I mean, my brain's stuck on the key learning being do you, like, be yourself, and it's cool to see like your social media page. It's so funny. It's so silly. It's like you. Was that always there? Like as a child, do you remember? I should have asked this before, but do you remember being goofy? Yeah,
we would do home videos, like I was saying, and like they're so fun to watch back. But I would get into character. One time, I did this thing. I was a newscaster who couldn't read. It's like that was a bit. I was like so young, and had like, he had like glasses, and it was just me just being like, sorry, what? It was just like not like can't read, but I couldn't see.
Yeah,
stuff like that. My sister and I did like a Steve Irwin bit where I was like young Steve Irwin, and she was like my mom being like, he's gonna be a star, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get all the crocodiles there. I had like the brush from a comb, like super hairspray to my chest, like a shirt. It was like I was always these characters. The Starbound was like acting and stuff, a little bit dancing. I was in choir in high school and stuff. So the performance part was
aspect too, which we didn't really touch on either.
Yeah. So there's a lot there, but I definitely liked performing. Like, I am a Leo in the world of the astrology, which I've read my thing before. And on this book on my birthday, it says like, we'll be like producer or performer or something. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like, enjoying the spotlight in like a humble way is something trying to like, because like I don't like it, but I do like it. It's a weird thing. Like I love getting recognized at shows on a certain level, but it's also just like it's so.
Bro, that's how we met.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna DM you because like like a couple of guys have been on the show, mutuals, and I thought I DM'd you, but I didn't. And then you just walk right past me, and I'm like, "Are you Mport?" You're like, "Yeah," and then we just started talking.
Yeah. So I love it. It's just such a cool thing to have experienced, but then it's also just like sometimes you're like it's overwhelming naturally.
Yeah.
So, depending on where it's at and how many beers I've had. But yeah.
I'm curious, is there anything like in terms of being yourself where you still feel like you're working on coming out of your shell with? Like
Yeah.
what's something that
I think to this day, like I mentioned, the music as far as like really, really sharing like weird stuff. I'll share clips of it here and there and kind of test the waters, and it's always positive. So that's something good I should do more. And just like maybe doing the first take and like putting that out, because I'll do videos and it will be like even like a shout out video of like, for like, yo, what's up, Wisconsin, playing here, blah, blah, blah. That's like the 8th take you're seeing. It's not like the first one. Maybe the first one is like the best, most authentic one if I'm not messing up the words or something. But to counter that, I feel like I've also leaned into those. If you like mess up or something in a recording, like that's the video, is you like messing up a bunch, and it's kind of leaning into it. Or I tell people who are afraid of like being in the front of the camera, I'm like, lean into it. Like that's your character. Be afraid of the camera. Like, or wear sunglasses. I love those for that. But yeah, I think I'm learning every day to just do it on the first take, or try to do that more.
Yeah.
Be more confident in your first go at it. And that kind of respect versus like, oh, I look dumb there. Oh, I did this. It's like, just be you in that sense too. But yeah, I'm trying to think of was there another part of the question? Or
No, well, I'm curious related to that. Like, what's something that you're learning about yourself right now?
I'm learning I don't like commitment that much. Committing to things like if someone's like, I'm getting married in November, right? And when I come to my wedding now, I'm just like, that's so far away. I have no idea. Especially if it's not like my best friend or something, where I'm like, I'm just super down. If it's something like, I want to go on this vacation then or something, I feel very like maybe a little anxious, or just like, I don't know, it seems far away. So it's like when people are like, where you see yourself in like years from now, I'm like, years? What's next week looking like, because I'm very spontaneous you know what I'm saying. It's very spontaneous. Very spontaneous in that regard. Or like shows, like career. I'm like, well, if I do that, then like I won't be available. What if a Red Rock show pops up? What if this happens? What if? And so it's just maybe like in the future, I'm just kind of get more like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm very like, it is what it is and it is what it will be type mindset with that. So planning is like that kind of thing.
Doesn't that also apply to commitments? So it's like if you commit to something and let's say a great show pops up, but you already committed. Well, it is what it is now.
Yeah, but yeah, depends what it is, I guess. It is what it might be. Yeah, opportunities like that. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Also, not thinking about like what you might lose versus over what you might gain. I might lose some monetary income for a show or an opportunity, but I actually might gain like an amazing weekend with family or a girlfriend or something or anything like that. So, I think that's something I'm trying to work on for sure. Just be more like, okay, I'm gonna commit to this. This is good.
Yeah.
Not worry about like what's bad about a good situation or what's good about a bad. I like to do what's good about a bad situation, but less of what's bad about a good situation. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, for sure. I'm curious, like, what's the dream currently, and then how has that dream evolved over the last? How long have you been producing for? Like 8 years.
Producing is like 2012 is when I got that computer.
Okay, so 13, 14 years.
Yeah. I feel like it's similar, is just to make really like impactful music that gives an experience. I feel like I really love that as like a goal or like a dream, is be able to do that all the time, which I am doing. So I feel like I'm living the dream, right? And then the next step would just to be like, how can I do it all on my own terms? I guess would say like.
What do you mean by that?
Versus like being like a part of something like other like tours maybe, or being part of this or that, or like having to travel or do things you might not, you are going to have to do things you don't want to do. But like at the end of the day, I guess the dream would be to sit in my studio and make songs that like fund the life that, but also still give that experience. But maybe it's for other people. Maybe I'm making a sick beat for a rapper and I have that connection. Cause that's all like, that's hard to get into that space. But if I could use my like talents to help singers make songs they wrote, whether I'm like attached to him or not. I feel like Skrillex does this really well. He's a very good. He still has Skrillex. He is still him, but he wrote so many songs, like Beyonce and all these. He's a writer in that world and a producer to help other people's vision come to life as well, and still gets like the doesn't have to be credit, but still gets like the money from it, I guess too. But more so just like I can go beyond just like the box I'm in, I guess would be a good. I'd love to get in like the pop world or like
that's interesting.
I'd love, because
I haven't heard this dream yet.
I mean, that's how I started it, was being a recording artist for bands. So like then I kind of went into this own creative thing. I want to master this and then take those skills and help other people envision their dream, or like just be able to do that a lot. I don't know, because the traveling too is really sick and playing shows is awesome, but to like just be able to create and like be very diverse. I'd love to be able to like be diverse, because as much as Mport or any project could be diverse, it's just a lot harder to like, what if I want to make like this indie pop punk thing all the time, or like I'm not the best singer, but I do have this idea for a song. What band do I know that could like do it? Like that's so cool. Like Benny Blanco is a really big inspiration, of course. These are like kind of behind the scenes producers as well as like the big like EDM acts. I think both sides are like really intriguing to me since the beginning until now, for sure.
So, okay, but you still want to be like a massive EDM act?
Yeah, I feel like
or no?
I don't know. I don't think I ever wanted to be like a massive EDM act, because once reality sinks in of like what that entails, I'm like, I think I'd be a happier person doing what I just said, but like also you can still be like not a massive EDM act and be very successful in it, because when you're at the top of the top, it's like the pressure and like all that stuff, and like the way to get there is like it's like Monopoly, because you have like your own town, and then you do the house, and 4 houses is a hotel, and it's really hard to get a hotel in Colorado. It's like getting a Red Rocks headline, right? But then you're doing that in every city around the country or world. Like I got to go to Ohio and get 1 house. If I get like 4 houses, I can headline Lost Lands or something,
Yeah.
So it's just like once you're in it and you're doing it and you're traveling, it is just like the reality kind of does sink in a little bit of like, to get to the point of this through this process that I've been at, which is like a slower thing. Yeah. If I keep going at this rate, I'll be like 45. Maybe that's when I'll like be a gorge headline, right?
Interesting.
Unless something happens that like just pops off, and I'm gonna go with it, and that's awesome.
But snap your fingers, you would want that. Like if you could just snap your fingers and have any dream come true, would you want that? The headline in the gorge. Headlining Lost Lands.
I think if I snap my fingers, it'd be like a big time producer, like in the music world. Yeah, that'd be cool. As far as, because like I wouldn't want to snap my fingers to do probably any of it, because the journey is so fun. The journey to get to that Red Rocks or that gorge would be really fun, and probably way more fun than actually playing that show that night. Is like the journey to get there. It's kind of like the bus tour I was on. It wasn't the shows. It was that. Whatever happened on that bus was like everything I'll ever remember. I couldn't remember more than 5 shows out of 50. It's all about, that's the journey, not the destination. So if I snap my fingers, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm connected. I know these people. I know these bands. I can make music for this person to send to that person. Hell yeah. And then the journey begins of like, I'm making these songs for these people that I am now connected with, versus like, I'm playing the show. Oh my God, look at all those people. I'd rather do the journey for that.
That's so interesting. I love this answer.
Yeah.
Because I would say it's atypical.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, at least, listen, you're guest number 13. The 12 before you, I think most people are striving for that headline act.
Mm-hmm.
And most people that I talk to are probably striving for that headline act. And yours is not necessarily that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I think as has been in it more and experienced it more, it is like, I love the shows and headlining and stuff, but like maybe the way I'm wired would be more so on the other thing, but I would definitely still am going to go for that headlining thing, because I feel like that is what gets you connected to maybe the bigger goal too, because you can be, I don't know, older in life and be like, okay, now I'm this producer guy. Look at like Subtronics just made a song with Jid, right? After he's gone so high up on this chain that he can now collaborate, play Coachella, collaborate with anyone he wants in a sense. And now he can be that role. It's just under like the artist project. So maybe that's the route. Maybe it's a different thing, but I don't know. That's kind of the two sides to the coin.
That's really cool. And so are you doing anything actively to kind of like nurture the producer side of things?
I want to more, honestly, because I feel like living in Colorado, and now that EDM's kind of really taken over a lot of it, anyone you talk to in the producer world here is going to probably be an EDM, and maybe they want that headline slot, and it's like a whole thing. You want to collab.
Yep.
It's like not necessarily I want to like produce your record, right?
Yeah.
Which would be really cool. I've done it. I used to do it a lot in college. Like this was the projects, work with bands, help mix stuff. And so I missed that for sure. And I was thinking about that over the years of like, that is like really, I get a lot of enjoyment out of that and fulfillment. And now it's just, maybe I need to get connected more into those scenes here in Colorado, because I'm sure it exists. I know it does, but it's just not as prevalent as the scene I'm so heavily in, like in my echo chamber of Wubs and Dubs.
I mean, Denver is a music city for sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure, I think you'd probably be surprised if you asked around like to your network.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd probably get a couple connections pretty easily.
Yeah. I should dive into that more. I got like a top line a girl sent me, and it sounds like a Flume like singer. I was like, this is so sick. It's obviously like an Mport song, right? I'm just like, hopefully it'll turn into that. But like I was so excited because I'm like, oh, this girl has this awesome song she wrote. She has like a demo of it, and then I'm like, my first thing is, oh, I gotta speed it up a little bit, and I hear it, you know, and then that gives me so much joy because it'll make her thing come true, her song.
Yeah.
And it's still under the, you know, Mport project, whatever. But if she had like 5 of those songs and liked the style, but didn't really want like the Wubs and Dubs and wanted like the chords and stuff, I'd be like willing to work with that, you know, if you really believe in the song itself and the artists.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make a leap here, but let's see if it resonates. Like the theme, like doing it with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like this feels very much more aligned with like you being a producer and connecting a bunch of people. It feels very more aligned with like doing it with friends, because it's like, hey, I got all these friends and I bring them all together and we're creating something special, as opposed to you being on this solo journey of becoming a headlining act.
Totally. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I was just like, I think I was on the plane because I just went to Italy and a big vacation with my girlfriend and her sister and all this, and like it was so fun traveling. You know, there's like the annoying times and stuff, but it was mostly just like, oh, fun. And then I was traveling to Seattle to play a show just alone. I'm like, this is so much different. Like it is nice. I like being alone. But at the same time, like it is better with friends, and making music with people is, I think, one of the best thing you can do. I think back-to-backing with people at like the Jenga parties or at whatever event is the most fun I ever have DJing, because I have the skills enough to kind of get out of anything and go anywhere. But it's like when you get the reaction of your friend, you're like, what, dude? That's so much better than being on stage and be like, yeah, I know that was cool, huh? How about this one? Versus like, dude, check this out. He's not going to believe this. DJing with Brondo is so fun. He does the same thing right back to me. Like he'll put an acapella over a song I would have never put that acapella over. And I'm like, what? Write that down, you know? Or the beat offs where it's like we have 12 people in a room on a laptop and silence for an hour and a half. Then we all just share our creation. Or collabing with people. Like a big part of my journey is Cairo Lex Banco, my friend Colin and Ben. And that's when I was collabing with 2 people at the same time. We'd have 3 laptops rotating every 15 minutes.
That's
on the
cool.
Same song.
That's cool.
And then also, or if you're doing it on speakers, you're like, you're about to undo something, Command Z, and you're like, whoa, don't undo that. Oh, that was sick. And you're like, what? Okay, you try your idea. And that's how like I think you get the coolest, best music. That's why this new Skrillex album that just came out, it's like 4 acts on every song, because it's fun. I think you make better music. And yeah, way better than collabing like online, for example. You're sending a project back and forth.
That's so fascinating. Wow, I love this thread. I'm glad I looped it in. I wasn't sure if it was going to fit, but no, it really resonates.
Oh, yeah.
This is like such a new perspective that I'm hearing. Maybe other people have heard this before, but for me, it's new, and I find it fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's just the most fun, because once you have the confidence to get out of your room because you've been doing it so long alone, learning with friends is also just as fun. But let's say you have the confidence to go work with an artist you want, or a friend or whatever, and you can like, okay, I have some ideas and I can operate the DAW, the software. I'm good enough to do that.
Yeah.
So once you get past that, or even learning, like I said, learning with friends is great. But yeah.
Sweet. I think that's like a pretty good picture of kind of like where you've been, how we got here.
Mport and friends.
Yeah, Mport and friends. Like, and like a good grasp of like musically who you are. So I would love to like dive into who you are beyond music. We already know you're silly, you're goofy. You have probably one of the best glasses collection in the entire scene.
Love glasses.
Probably the best glasses collection. Like, when you're not producing, what are you doing?
Recently it's been like watching YouTube. So I love learning about shit like we talked about.
How it's made, baby.
How it's made. Comedy.
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its, yeah.
Can you please give a TED Talk on how Cheez-Its are made?
Yeah. Chemicals. but yeah, I love researching some things sometimes. I love like little conspiracies is fun to get into.
Yeah, what's your favorite conspiracy? You were talking with Taboo of the moon landing's not real.
Yeah. But it's always in these moments where I'm like realize how like if you say or like think about those things, you're just like, I should memorize like the whys because I just memorized the does. And I'm just like, oh yeah, the moon landing's probably not real. And they're like, yeah, why? And I'm just like, well, I forgot about that part of the YouTube video. It was mainly the
You're a big Y-Files guy.
love the Y-Files. Yeah, he's a great example of that. And then at the end, whether it's like true or not, so many of them are like, I'm so hooked. This happens so much. And then at the end, he's like, actually, and I'm like, God damn it.
Right.
It got me.
First 10 minutes of the video, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. And then some of them, he's like, we actually don't know. And I like those too. I think like pyramids were definitely built by aliens, just like the crazy, like, all those facts about them. I can't remember right now, but how they align, the way they cut them. Energy. I think there's like a civilized world before here that got wiped out. I feel like that's kind of interesting. Free electricity.
Called the Younger Dryas.
Huh?
So it's called the Younger Dryas.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know. I might be confusing things.
Yeah.
The Big Flood.
The Big Flood. Yeah. It's like all the religions have like the same stories, which is kind of crazy. Also being in Italy and seeing that for the first time, I was like, that Jesus guy was probably real. Because why would you do all this hard work if you didn't see him? So that was a very cool experience of art in general. But yeah, outside of that, I'm just like music. I'm just fascinated in a little bit of history of stuff. And I tried to do video games. I used to like love video games, and I try to do it now. And it's like a little bit more in my head of like, you should be doing something more productive or so like I think Mario is like the best where I can just like just play Mario and not think about music or anything. I think it's super fun because it is musical and it's fun.
So there is a sense of productivity, like in a fear, not fear, but like an urge of like, I need to be more productive.
Yeah. I think
the first time hearing this.
I don't know if that's like a branch of, is that a branch of imposter syndrome? Because I definitely have dealt with that too. But just like, yeah, if I'm doing anything other than music even if I wrote like a banging song yesterday, it's like it'd be like, I have the flow to do another banging song today. And if I don't, and if I rewarded myself for all the things that happen good all the time, I feel like it wouldn't be as productive as far as like taking it in and appreciating it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I'm going to go get some beer and just play some video games because I just won this remix competition. And then like the next day happens, like, I'm going to go do this. I won that competition. I should like treat myself versus like, oh, no. He's like, then now's the time to grind because like you have eyes on you or something like that. And
so how do you handle that? How do you turn that producer brain or those thoughts, maybe not turn them off, but like, how do you quiet that part of the mind so you could actually do what you want to do?
I think beginning of the year, especially, I got really more into getting to the gym and stuff. So I go there and like listen to like a podcast or even just enjoy music for music versus analyzing it and then like just run to it. I like the running and like the way you feel afterwards is very refreshing. I've also been doing the morning pages recently. Where you write down a bunch.
So you've done. Why am I blanking? The Artist Way. You've done the whole thing.
No, I just
you just do the morning pages.
I know about it from the Rick Rubin book, and then I had a friend recently saying it's been helping him through some hard times. And I was like, I've been wanting to do that for a while, and I think it's just a good thing to do. Because I do wake up, I feel like a lot of my anxiety is in the morning. I wake up with like, if I have the littlest things to do, I'll be like, oh my God, freaking out. Cause just in bed, because it's like that first, like, I don't know, overwhelmingness. So like, I got to go to the store and I got to do this, when in reality it's nothing. And you do it and you're like, that was easy. It's kind of like making lists and checking them off. That's a good way to deal with that for me. But outside of music, I mean, recently was like the travel to Italy, I think was the coolest thing. I think getting out of like your world is like the best thing for creativity. I was just walking around Italy like, oh, here's a pre-drop vocal. Oh, I got this idea. Try to write them down. I come back and I'm like, I got nothing. I don't know. It just goes, you just kind of like catch the wave while you have it. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't done much. Also comedy, I think pursuing more of that stuff, I think would be really funny. Like making skits just for the point of, or the fun of making them versus like promoting, or I see that a lot on social media.
Would you do like an open mic?
I don't think an open mic, but my sister does improv a lot. It's actually down the street here. So she's done classes like all the way through like 601 or something. And I did a pop in with her once, and I did like something funny on stage, like improv, and then the laugh, it kind of shot me back to that first show.
Yeah.
I was like,
ooh, that's telling.
That's like, that felt good to make a room of people laugh through like, it was more physical, I think, physical humor, because it was like some sketch, but I was like, damn, that felt really good. And like these people, this community is really cool. They're all like fun and smart and comics. And so yeah, I think that whole world is something I haven't tapped into fully, but I do like consume a lot of comedy, whether it's stand up or going to a comedy show is like one of my top 5 things I love to do. They just can get way more expensive than the guest list I can get. So sometimes a lot of times I choose the music over the comedy when I should just spend the $100 and go see a comedian I love. Cause dude, I'll never forget watching, I think it was some Christmas, my parents went to bed and I watched Jim Gaffigan Beyond the Pale. It was on Netflix or something. And I was cackling, like nonstop, cackling. I don't know if this is before I smoked weed or not, or I don't know when it was. I think I was a little younger, so maybe not. But my dad like was actually not in bed. He was in the other room. And he was like, what the hell are you laughing at? And I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. He was just talking about food. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't anything like, it was just like realistic, relatable things. And I saw him live eventually and it was amazing. But that feeling of just like laughing uncontrollably is like another high. It's really hard to beat. So I like to combine it, I guess. If I can make someone laugh and dance, then you're having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, beyond the music, I think it's just like being silly and comedy and creative in other ways. It's always like creative. I'll like sit down to do something like play video games and admittedly, yeah, smoke some weed and play video games. I'm like, oh, I have an idea. Like, it's like not even like work or it's not like something I'm trying to get away from all the time. It is something I'm trying to like get a hold of when it comes more so.
Sure.
Cause I think I've spent so much time of like, especially when I lived in a house where my room is just the studio in the same room. I just get out of bed, don't brush my teeth, don't do anything, in boxers, go sit down, go to make a banger. And that's just like not healthy and you're not going to get some good stuff. Versus like when I made The Jiggler, I was sitting and watching the show for like the second time in my life. And I was like, that's so funny. That should be a song. And then like while watching it, I made the song like on the couch, like just like capturing those moments of creativity versus always trying to force it. And like, if you're going to try to force it, do something like make some sounds or not music or something. So outside of music is probably just more music. I love driving too. Driving around's fun with no, like, have you ever done that? But drive with no place to go.
Not really.
It's with gas prices nowadays, maybe not.
I got an EV, so
nice.
I'm thinking about this is a good idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. Something about that is alluring.
Head towards
to me.
Evergreen and just like see where you go and be like, this is beautiful. Hit the sunset, come back. It's a nice little therapeutic thing. And like going to the park with people, I think is something I'd like to do. Bowling, I love bowling, and golf too. Love golf.
Okay.
Golf a lot. Now it's coming.
Nice. We got a well-rounded picture now.
Yeah.
There's also your girlfriend Carissa.
Yes.
Been with her for a while.
Yeah, like 3.5, 4 years now. Almost.
Oh wow.
I think I met her 4 years ago this month.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm curious, what do you think she unlocks in you?
She unlocks like just being so like, I don't know, happy and supportive and like friends, having good friends and like being positive, and she's so funny too. So like her group of friends is like the most awesome people. I remember when I first met her, I was just like, these are all your friends. Like, and there's nothing to do with the music or anything, but like the most supportive, like there's like, I love, it's like entering someone else's world like that and it being so positive. And like, they have so many parties and friends and gatherings and they're all there in a big group chat, you know, it's like small and very tight.
Wait, so what is it unlocking you?
It's
what
just,
is she unlocking?
Oh, just like, I don't know, that sense of like, have good people around you. I don't know. I feel like something she reminds me of to always do. And unlocks like, I don't know,
another layer of joy.
Yeah, just being really kind and like love. She emanates love, honestly, like her dog.
Oh wow.
And we used to call her Kiss Risso when she was a kid. She's like kiss everyone. She's just that, I don't know, doesn't really have like a hateful bone in her body or anything. So anytime I get cynical or like jaded, as it's bound to happen, she like can get like not mad, but just like shut up, or not shut up. But you know, the other day I was asking about something and she was just like, yeah, I don't think that'd be the best thing to do. Or like, I don't think that's the best way to look at it. And I'm like, you're right. I was more hypothetical, but like based in truth. And so, yeah, definitely a very positive light.
Yeah. Optimism, positivity. I love that.
An adventure. She pushes me to be like way out of my comfort zone on certain things, and I should say yes more.
What was the last thing that she pushed you to do outside of your comfort zone?
climb a mountain with it's crazy, dude. She's like, she didn't know how hard it was either, but it was like this hard hike on the last day in Italy, and we're like take a 7 a.m. boat out to this mountain, and you're approaching it and you're like, what did we sign up for? This is insane. And she's like, haha, I love it. And I'm just like, oh my God. And so like it's like life or death type shit in my head. Cause it's
Yeah.
like at one point you're like on ropes over like cliffs, like climbing. We've never done this before. And we had not expecting it. We didn't eat enough food for that or any at all. Cause I thought it was just going to be a long hike, not like a mountain climbing thing. But we did it. It was like 3,000 or 2,000 feet elevation or something, literally climbing straight up. And then at one point, it's so scary. I have like the Ray-Ban glass video of it. But at the end, I was like, I felt very good. I was like, wait, I did it. I wanted to get a tattoo that just said you did it afterwards. That's how much I was just like, damn, I did that. Because I was like shaking and like very scary. But I was like, what's your favorite part of the trip? She's like, that was like the highlight. And I was like, in a sense, it was mine too, but it was just very hard, not a hard or easy highlight. First, like that food was really good. It was very earned. And she's like on her birthday, she would like climb 14er. So she took me on my first 14er. Did not like that. The end was pretty cool. Did not like going back. It was like the easier one here too.
Yeah.
At Bierstead, I think. But yeah, she's like challenges me to go beyond my comfort zone for sure.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to like opening up and talking more about stuff.
Here you are.
Yeah. So she's
That's incredible.
I think, yeah, some of the things I brought up probably wouldn't if she's encouraged me to open up more with her too.
Well, we thank you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. She's a sweetest heart, sweetheart.
Oh, that's cute. So we have a segment on this podcast where the last guest asks the next guest a question, but they don't know who the next guest is.
Mm-hmm.
So the question's from Oseen.
Okay.
And he asks, why do you think the EDM genre, bass music genre as a whole, well, that's kind of two, EDM and more specifically bass music subgenre, has blown up so much in the last 5 years compared to, your other mainstream genres?
Because it's sick. Just kidding. No.
Because it's sick, bro. Mic drop.
I mean, who wouldn't like it? No, I think it's because it's all encompassing and it's like you can take anything, let's say any song you like or genre you like, you can kind of turn it into this genre. And so it's a very easy to, I mean, you've seen that with the remixes and stuff. It's very easy to kind of get into it.
Yeah.
I know you're like a newer goer to it relatively. So I feel like, I don't know, whatever drew you in, that's probably like a lot of other people have that too. And I love bringing people in. Like the Day Tripper remix I did, one of the most satisfying things about it is I feel confident enough to play that to like my 6-year-old Uber driver and he'll like it. And he'll be like, maybe I do like this genre.
Yeah.
So I think overall the use of, cause now you can get stems from any song with like new tools, which is so crazy. But I think the fact that it's very accessible, anyone can kind of start making it and do it if they're interested. You can kind of make any genre into it. It's kind of like a little leech of goodness, I guess. And then the fact that it just is so like over the top once you're in it, like once you take someone to their first show, I feel like that experience sits with you as like seeing like a crazy movie in a movie theater, something like, whoa, the sound, the lasers, you know, even like take someone to like a Boots and Cats house show and they're probably gonna have a good time, even if they like, I hate techno, even though it's like not techno. I don't know. I just feel like you can get any person to the right show and it'll really transform them. And then they'll kind of dive into their own, what they like. Cause there's so much. If you like weird stuff, go listen to this. If you like tear out aggro stuff, listen to this.
Yeah.
And there's in between all the time. So
totally. No, I love that answer. There's a remix for everything. And I think remixes are so popular these days. Like, it makes a lot of sense. There was something I was going to say, but I've forgotten that. So I'm going to go back to my original point. Yeah, like, well, I'm only like newer into your like the deeper bass.
Okay.
Your genre of the trees, like that type of bass.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up on melodic dubstep.
Okay.
So it's like it's a little bit more approachable. Like melodic dubstep in my eyes was more approachable, and that was kind of my progression. Like, well, I should say it started with Avicii, which is even before the melodic dubstep. But then it was really like 7 Lions, AU5, Trivecta, Trace the Arc, and then like it just got heavier from there.
Sure, yeah.
And now it's getting weirder, which is good.
Yeah.
It's like heavier and weirder.
And I totally like get that, and it's funny when people get mad about people for not liking things. I think it's so silly because like obviously they're not gonna like this whatever beeps and bloops thing if you're into like big vocal moments. Like I'd be like, oh, if you like Taylor Swift, check out Elenium's remix of her stuff.
Right.
It's like
exactly.
Like, okay, I like this. This hits maybe harder on my sound system than the other one, or makes you feel a certain way. Like go in the route of whatever that is. But I'm not going to just show you like a Yeti song on my phone and be like, you don't like this? Really? You don't like this? You know, it's like, no. Start with what they know. I used to do it with Pop Goes Punk, dude. It'd be like, oh, you like this? I'll play this. And then so you kind of like metal a little bit. You like the energy of it. You might not like the screaming, or you might like this or whatever, but it's
Totally.
not like you're like, turn it off. Unless they are, then it's just funny. But I think going, you can show people in the right way. I feel like I've done that a lot with kids, like fans' kids I've had, which is funny because like they're like, my baby loves this song and that, and Harry Potter Puppet Pals, and so maybe like my way of getting people into it is through funny memes or humor or something.
Yeah.
And I know that's a big thing now, but I feel like
super approachable.
Yeah, it's very just like, oh, it's funny, and in no way does it degrade like the seriousness of like the actual music of it. So my always thing is like, be silly and funny, but like don't make it bad, because then it's just like, oh, that's just weird and bad. Like they're like, whoa, this is actually good, is like one of the biggest compliments I've gotten, where I'm like, actually is a weird word, but I'm like, I get you, you know. Actually, for a song that just has that, what I do, the Island Boy, I remix that song, like, this is actually good. I'm like, yeah, the original song has its part, it's good, so I just kind of made that the whole thing, and that song turned into something else. But
that's what I was gonna say, though. That's why I bring people to raves, strangers to raves.
Yeah, what you do is so cool.
Well, like, we still have yet to bring an like someone that's never experienced it before. Like, the people that I brought by chance have all like known of electronic music. They'd never been to a dubstep show. The first girl, Selena, had been, but the other two had never been to like a bass show, so it was unique. I still have yet to bring someone that's completely new.
Ooh,
but it will happen.
Yeah, and it's harder to get them to go because they don't have that initial
right.
So I was talking to my one of the girls who was getting married, and how her like spouse doesn't like it now, but she'd never been to a show, and I was like, just got to take her to a show, and she'll probably get into it.
Yeah.
At least appreciate it. That's all you can ask for.
Sure.
At the end of the day, is just appreciate that it's the massive than life. Then I saw Metallica like last year, and it was like, it's kind of funny how like, I don't know, just big EDM was, because their production wasn't even close to like an EDM thing. It was cool. It was very cool and big, but it was Metallica playing. That was the act, not like the visuals or lasers.
100%. Like, people don't know what they're missing.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, when you have a bad experience with the genre, I just totally understand why you wouldn't like it. I had a sound engineer on the tour with Taboo who he had all of the bass cut out of the speakers pretty much, and then like for me, so I was like changing my set to only like vocal music, because like, there's no point to play this bass music without bass. Blah blah blah. By the end of the night, I went up to the guy and Taboo's about to play, and I was like, I saw like his EQ curve, and I was like, can you take off that like low end cut? He's like, the headliner going on. He's like, that would blow my speakers. And I was like, oh my God, not how it works with this, but sure. And I understand why you hate this music, because you're hearing it like this. It's just like really harsh mids and highs in an echoey room playing really loudly. Of course, he's going to be like, I hate this EDM stuff. And so that was the experience I had of like, you know what? I get it. If you haven't experienced it, then you won't appreciate it.
Yeah.
So even a sound guy, I'm like, it's not going to blow your subs, dude. Unless you blow him. He could blow his own subs for sure, but that's his fault. That's not the DJ.
Oh man. Is there anything else that you feel like you wanted to talk about, or anything that you thought I was going to ask that I didn't ask?
Nothing really. Except for when I will say, because that tour reminds me of like, I know like, when I got that phone call to do that tour, was pretty like,
yeah, we did skip that
in my just like confidence or whatever. But the whole story, it was like that story, and then the story of the Eyes Cut Deeper remix, because it goes deeper than what it seems, I feel like, which is funny. Deeper. But the Taboo thing was cool, because I had met him naturally at a show. I feel like for any artist in general, I feel like your connections, even the artists bigger than you, are always going to be natural, the best ones at least. Like meeting them somewhere and not being like, my manager set me up with you, or like glazing them really hard and then like hopefully getting a response or whatever. So I think we just met naturally through a friend, Colin from Kyle Spanko, who's Big Nut Chuck now. So shout out. I love him so much. But met him mutually. And then later on at an after party later, some Red Rock show got canceled. So it was like Buku playing, and I met him again, and I was like, I have an idea. Like, we're yelling, like, I have an idea, the cha-cha slide, but like dubstep. I've had this idea for years, but I don't know how to execute it well. And he's like, let's do it. Whatever. And then like a week later, I go to his house and we like make that song, and I'm just like kind of like nervous sitting there, because I'm like, I've listened to this guy for a long time, very influential in the whole music comedy thing. Blah blah blah. Put that song out like 2 years after the fact, and then like another couple years, I get this phone call. He's like, I'm going on tour. It's going to be 50 dates on a bus. Like, I want you to be on it. And I was like, how many dates? How many of the 50? Usually it's legs, you know? And he's like, all 50, brother. It's like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, please. You know, there's a bunch of other stuff that goes into that. But I was like, I don't even care if I get paid for it as long as I'm like losing money or whatever. Is you can bring merch, you can do that, you know, all this stuff. But yeah, I was paid for it, and I got to sell merch, and it was just the best experience I could probably ever ask for. I think ever since that tour is when I had the reality set in of like the whole headliner thing. And I was like, I think this is more fun than headlining a gorge in a sense, because I'm just the first act on this bus tour. The pressure is not really on me. I'm just waking up every day in a new city, playing a set, changing it up, making new songs, testing them. Well, he's a little bit more stressed about some things, obviously. Not to say that his position's definitely the goal and stuff too, but I was just on the road like, this is intense. This is like real shit. Like every day you're getting like bombarded by fans in a good way. Like you're getting so much love. And then when that tour ends, 50 dates in 11 weeks, it's gone. You're just at home and you're just like, oh, I think everyone on that tour suffered from some post-tour depression. Yeah. Cause I was just at home like, oh man, there's not like a meet and greet line waiting. There's not like a show to test the song out. And then I just tried to like finish an EP I was working on, but I was like, damn, I was pretty bummed for a while. I was just like, that's gone. It's like a vacation and you come back into reality. Totally. Even though I did miss being home 100%. But when you're like in the moment, you're not like thinking about that as much as you might think you would be. Cause you're just like, go. Sure.
Well, you're also doing it with friends.
Yep,
like that's tour, the big thing.
Those guys are amazing. It was just like literally playing UFC and Madden in the back of this thing, yelling at each other at 4 a.m. Someone else was like, shut up. We're like, sorry. What are we playing next? You know, or it's the most fun I think you could ever have as anyone. It's like a school trip. I felt like I was like in college again or something, because it was just like party, fun, and play your music. And the memories I have, the tour vlogs I did from that were just like barely scraped the surface, but I tried to like document it a little bit. Yeah. And the best part was coming back to Mission Ballroom and playing like the best set I've ever played in my life, because I was so like repped at 50 reps. So I was changing it every night. And then the day I got back, we had a day off, and then the show, I made a whole new set. I wasn't even playing what I was playing on tour. I was just playing little bits and pieces of like the best parts, kind of like a comedy stand-up special does, where you like, they try all the jokes everywhere, and then the special is the best part. So then, I was literally like, and at one point I had to wing it because I fell out of time. I got to play a song for my dad at the end, Wipeout remix. And I was like, I thought I had 5 minutes left, or vice versa. I had extra 5 minutes. I was like, oh, I get to actually play this. I
actually saw that clip.
Yeah. And you got to bring him up and all that stuff. So that whole tour just like started, middle, everything was wrapped perfectly. And it couldn't have been a better crew or anything like that. There's no like drama or anything, or very little. It was awesome. So that was like, it's just a huge part of my life.
Well, it's I think two things. One, doing it with friends, but two, realizing like, wow, like not being the headliner actually feels pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it feels really good to do, because he gets to do his show and stuff too. Yeah. So both are good. I think the more so than being the headliner, not headliner is good. It's just like the road in general is just like rough. Like, because you think you want that, and you do, but then towards the end, we're almost home, and you're almost like, fuck, I can't wait to be home. Like no matter what you do in life, I feel like at the end of the day, if you do it enough, you're going to like miss something, and it's going to feel like a job for sure. That is just like, rough. That's a lot of shows. We're doing 6 shows a week for like 3 weeks straight.
That's intense.
So, but it was overall great. And I definitely leveled up as a DJ and a performer, because that part can be hard too, of just like, what's up? You know, talking, being engaged more with the crowd beyond the music. Which is now why I bring like props with me when I go. Because if I don't have visuals, I'm like, oh, I have a duck head I could put on for that song. I have the
That's great.
eyeglasses I could put on for this other song. And just kind of be the visual. Yeah. And that's kind of what it's turned into, because it's really hard to bring a VJ at this level with you and make money that you need to make. So I want to go into that. My next goal is definitely like bringing my show that I play here in Denver, like at Cervantes or Bluebird or wherever, Mission even, bringing that show to other people. Because I feel bad if like someone pre-games for my set and like sees this like full production on YouTube or something, like this is it, and then I just like it's my logo behind me flashing for an hour. I'm just like, it's not really the vision I had, and I'm not really able to bring it there. I could run it myself. I know Jenga does that. He's been a big inspiration in trying to learn that stuff more, so I got to get on that more and get the extra computer and all that. But yeah, bringing my show, bringing my vision, bringing like the comedy meets whatever Wubs to the people versus just like relying on a house VJ, because I was a VJ for so long. So I'm really passionate about how a show looks visually.
It seems like it's the next step. Like all the pieces are there.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can make the visuals. You love the comedy aspect of it. Like you're already doing with props, like some sort of visual element, and like you're thinking about it. It seems like a really like obvious next step.
Totally. Yeah. I was actually looking at flights today to bring out a VJ because I'm headlining a festival in Houston. So I was like, okay, I think even if it's not monetary, I'm like, I think I just got to do it to like bring the show that I want to bring. And that's what it takes. So that's good there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I guess, was the
Eyes Cut Deeper.
Yeah, the remix, which is the most insanely humbling, I don't even know, thing that I got picked for that. But it's crazy because that started so much before the competition. It's like, I guess the cool part about that story is because he played that song for the first time months ago. He's like, I think he tweeted like Eyes Cut Deeper. You'll know what that means later. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I see the clip and I'm like, damn, that song rips. But my main focus was the lyric, my eyes cut deeper. And I think I responded to a story even. I just said deeper, all caps. 'Cause I'm like, whenever this song comes out, I got to remix it. Just because the vocal. If nothing else, I think it's going to be amazing if it was like my eyes cut deeper. And so then I actually was on a plane coming back from a show and he was playing Coachella. And I was watching the live stream, being so inspired. I haven't been that inspired by a set in a long time. It was just very like, this man is making so many people like fall in love with this if it's their first time because it's Coachella, but he's doing it so properly and like giving him the weird, giving him the heavy, giving him the pop, and just the flow is great. So I was very just like glazing Subtronics. And I was just like, oh yeah, this guy's the best. Anyway, and so then I'm like, Eyes Cut Deeper's at the end, and I was like, oh, I get to hear the full song finally because I want to remix it. Maybe I can like figure out an idea. So I screen record the song so I can maybe like put it in Ableton and figure out the key of it and kind of get like some ideas going because I know it's going to come out that week because it's why not? Why wouldn't not put it out? Comes out Friday, I download it and I just remix it that night or give an idea for it. The whole thing was trying to make it say deeper too, so that's why there's like deepa. That's why there's like a big tape stop when the vocal, then it's like deepa and it hits in. So I made a version of it frantically. I love like part of it, didn't love another part of it. I played it at like a pop-up the next day, EDM Friends pop-up. It went off pretty well. But I was like, that first part, I really just don't like that much. And then he announces and I had the idea for this drum and bass second drop, but just using similar to his flow. And I was like, that's really hard with like, I don't have the stems or whatever. And then he's like, stems are out. And I'm like, God, now I got to really do this.
Yeah.
Sick. So then, I had the first drop pretty much done. I tweaked that first part because before it was convoluted. Now it's like simple. I had to shout out Colin for the critique on that. He's like, yeah, just that first part, which I agreed with. I was like, something about it, but he kind of told me what it was I didn't like. And then the second drop, I was able to just do my little quick vision. It wasn't too crazy, but I just took his drop and added made drum and bass elements. And then I had to go to Italy, so it was over. I was like gonna like go remix like the middle parts and like make it all even more my own. But I was like, you know what? I'm out of time. I got to go on this trip. I'm just gonna upload it. And cool. Hope he hears it. That's awesome. I don't think mine was like a true remix because I didn't touch a lot of it. I didn't touch the vocal aspect as much. So in my head of like not giving myself enough credit or whatever, I was just like, yeah, it's a cool flip. I didn't, whatever. And then the fact that he did the stream later on and listened to all these remixes, and I was watching that and with the friend, I was like, no way. What do you think he's going to say about the winners if he's liking this one so much? And then he did the winners, and I wasn't a part of like the top part or anything, which is fine. I was just like, I just loved that he loved it so much when he listened to it. And then that night he like DM'd me and said, sorry, dude, I don't know how I didn't pick this. I'm going to have you also be on the compilation.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? So it's like a big roller coaster of just like, I'm not doing it because there's a competition. There's a competition. Okay, let's get after it. I got to go to Italy. It's not as perfect as I want it to be or as much as I want. So I'm not bringing my laptop on this thing either. So whatever, submit it. Oh, he loves it. That's awesome. Oh, I didn't get mentioned in the top, whatever. That's not the biggest deal, but okay. Oh, you won. Whatever. And then it comes out. I'm like, crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just the intention of like wanting to remix that song just because it said deeper way before it came out to like ending it up. Now it's on Spotify. And it's like the craziest thing. But it was like so, I guess to root back to everything, it was so authentic. I wasn't remixing it because I'm like, this is going to be so popular if I remix this popular song. Kind of like some other things that happened. But I was just like, I like deeper. I want to make it my own. And then I got that fractured pack shit too. And I was like, oh, I'll beat off with this pack. And then all just kind of fell together. So I wanted to tell that story because It's
Oh,
been
that's a great story.
Oh, and then the eyeball things, because I just found that on TikTok a couple weeks earlier. Wasn't even thinking about that at all. And then like they came in the mail because I got on TikTok Shop, so it takes forever. I was like, eyes cut deep? No way. So I just did that video before I left, and now it's going to be probably a part of my brand because it's just so funny, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
Anything with my eyes. I had a suntan goggles, the slug face, the eye blinkers. I want to do a poster. If I like, probably let's say when I headline Mission Ballroom, it'd be Mission Mport. And it'd be all, those flyers like Avengers or whatever, where it's all the different characters in the
Yeah, I
movie.
love that.
But it's me. And
That's
it's
so
like,
good.
So I guess I'm manifesting now, but it's me, and it's like I got a duck head on one of me. I got the glasses on one of me other, and it says all me, and it's like Mission Mport. And so, or Mission Impossible, that's it. Or something like that. I think, and just take out the I.
I love that.
So-
That's a really good idea.
So look out for Mission Impossible 2028, or I don't know when that would be, but
That's a good, manifest it.
Yeah.
Write it down.
100%.
That's
I
a
thought
good
of that
goal.
on the plane too after listening to the podcast. Just more, and the more you like internally think about stuff, the more can come out creatively or for your own psyche. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the key theme that you said, like, it was that authentic expression. I want to do this just to do it.
mhm.
And it happened to work out really well. Chosen in a weird way, but chosen to be a winner.
Yeah.
Like, what a nice surprise. Like the cherries on top.
Yeah. The funny thing too is you reached out before all that, and you asked for that song, and you mentioned, I love the second drop, the drum and bass part, which was like the least effort part for me. It was just like I sped up his song, had the stem so I could cut it up a little bit how I wanted to, add some drums, but it wasn't like this crazy flip on the idea.
Yeah.
It was like his idea just with my idea, but like not that, I don't know, it's nothing crazy. It's the fact he commented on that versus like the crazy technical first part was just like mind blowing to me. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. And the very, very validation worthy for sure. Or I felt very validated.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So shout out him. He's great.
Shout out. He's eventually he'll be on this podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And he'll talk your ear off about everything. It'll be great.
Good.
He's such a good talker.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on and diving into your story. And yeah, it was so refreshing to hear all of it because it hadn't really existed yet out in public.
Yeah, 100%. I was very excited to come on here. So thank you for having me.
Of course, dude.
Glad I ran into you in Red Rocks.
Thank you so much for listening. If any part of this episode resonated with you, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like, follow, or subscribe. Much love.